But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Hey, it's Matt Royce.
You got it.
Sometimes wearing that extra layer of clothing isn't exactly summer friendly, but we may be trying to cover up those pesky extra pounds from the holiday season. Wouldn't it be better to feel comfortable in just a single layer while you're having fun in the sun? Well, Awaken 180 Weight Loss can help you get to whatever goal you have in mind. Maybe you have low energy, joint or muscle pain, and all you want to do is go for a hike or a swim, a few laps, without feeling like you're so winded. Awaken 180 Weight Loss can get you there too. With Awaken's one-on-one coaching from the amazing counselors, they will walk you through every step to get you to your goal weight. Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the long-term solution for weight loss. They have helped over 25,000 people lose the weight and lose the weight for good. Just imagine where you could be by Labor Day if you just give them a call today. So come on, let's make this summer the one where we feel our best. Set up your free consultation today at 844-346-1800 or visit them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
Like a dream come true.
Reese on the Radio. Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! What's going on, all you scallywags, nutmeggers, across the fruited plain? It's time for Reese on the Radio show on WTIC News Talk 1080. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Can you drink the water after the 4th of July? That answer may be no. We may have to figure that out because nobody has shown any interest in this, I guess we can call it alleged poisoning of the water in the state of Connecticut, if not across the country. I have looked anywhere and everywhere I can to find out if there's at least one news story on it. This is an environmental story, and I get it. Climate change hasn't been sexy as of late. But I'm seeing nothing. No talk anywhere about this. I'd like to understand why, but no one's been able to help me. Called people, tried to get people on the phone. No answer. Lines are busy. I think there's something to that, though. I'll get to that in a second. But there hasn't been a real, how do I put it, urgency in all of this. I don't seem to understand what that deal is about. You should ask yourself, why wouldn't anyone talk about it even to dispel the rumors, if that's indeed what they are? Why wouldn't someone come out and say, hey, we've heard some concerns, and this is why you shouldn't worry. Hey, this rumor is going on online. People are talking about it on radio programs. But here's why that's all false, and here's the truth. Nothing, not even an interest in dispelling what could possibly be just conspiracy, right? You get Webby, who's got a pretty good online presence, Chris Webby, and congratulations to him. I love his activism now. And boy, does he's in it. He's in it in a way that, and I don't even know the guy like that, but the passion that's in his voice, I've watched 2 videos of him so far, and I'm going, I want this guy's energy on this. I'm sure I have it, but he's got real energy, and he's showing invested energy. But even with that, his voice, being who he is, still hasn't drawn attention from anybody in the news media, the New Haven Independent even, which I believe covers a lot more, hard-edged and off-the-beaten-path news stories than the mainstream media in Connecticut does. I've been reading the New Haven Independent for a while here, and I'm going, wow, they seem to cover some stuff that other places don't, but no interest. Not one person. I've reached out to certain people. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little surprised at some of the people I've reached out to because they know me, supporters of the show. Not a lot of enthusiasm to come on and say, hey, we've found out what you're talking about, and it's this, that, and the third. Now, I told you this, guys, before. I don't care if they're friends of the show, been on the show. I have no allegiances to anybody but you. I don't care what side of the political aisle they're on. If they go silent, if they become reticent, if they go dark, they know I'm coming after them. I make that clear from the get-go. Hey, great that you're trying to fight the good fight. You cross me or the listeners, you cross me or the people that you're here to protect and to serve, the spotlight goes on you. Now, there should be, with something like this, again, this is not a political football. It doesn't have to be. People are obviously concerned. When I tell you they're concerned, Roland, I got to tell you this. Let me tell you why people are so and how the level of concern that there is. People are sending me messages on Facebook or anywhere else at all hours of the night about this. Hey, I found this. Hey, I found that. There's never been that kind of interest in a story. Why? Because this one is at the heart of the matter. It's everywhere where it's supposed to be. And they all seem to care. And now people are really invested. So why no public outcry? Why no news coverage? TNH, FSB, Connecticut, NBC? Nothing? Nobody? A little bit of interest? The only place where I'm seeing stories, the only place, are on Facebook, people's personal accounts, some stories on, well, I'd say Facebook pages and YouTube pages on DQuat. I have one page here on YouTube from 3 years ago. Again, the reason why I'm miffed about why there's no interest. Think about this. The Baptist Health of South Florida did a study 3 years ago. And in that study, that healthcare provider was giving service or help to a landscaper who inadvertently swallowed DQuat from a Gatorade bottle he thought was, of course, Gatorade. Here's what they found. He was a 63-year-old male. He came in 90 minutes after he ingested a small gulp of the herbicide. He experienced a burning sensation in his throat and sternal area, followed by nausea, vomiting, uncontrollable urination, and diarrhea, as well as weakness in his legs. The physical examiner revealed a man of moderate acute distress with severe epigastric discomfort. It was clear while the diarrhea was very watery. Sorry about the graphic nature of this, but the diarrhea was neon green. That was from taking a quick swallow of the Dequat, immediately recognizing that it wasn't Gatorade. According to this study that was done, Dequat is rare yet highly lethal toxin with a mortality rate of at least 43%. They're going to put this in the water. They're going to put it in the water. They say that someone needs to be treated with charcoal within 60 minutes for optimal treatment for gut detoxification. This whole study, again, done 3 years ago. In fact, it's one of the places, this particular subject of Dequat, it is so rare you can't find it anywhere where studies are being done in the United States. But I got to grab my paperwork here because I put this on the side. Again, this is my query as to why there is no news reports, no person even finding out what people are talking about and coming to the press, coming to their newsrooms to talk about it. Dequat was banned in England, and it was banned in broader use in the UK. The ban of Dequat as a pesticide was implemented in 2018 due to high risk of human health, particularly to people living near fields where it's sprayed, and its environmental impact. However, the UK law does not prohibit the production or the export of Dequat, allowing companies like Syngenta to manufacture it in the UK for sales in countries with less strict restrictions. In 2023, the UK exported 5,123 tons of Dequat, primarily to Brazil, where it's been linked to a rise in poisonings. The health risks of Dequat, according to the study, is contributed, they're talking about the contributed to the ban in what's the name. Here's the acute toxicity. Ingestion. Dequat is extremely toxic and swallowed even in small amounts. It can cause severe systemic effects, including kidney failure, liver damage, central nervous system depression. Symptoms may include nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain, as we just discussed. The inhalation of Dequat that can irritate the respiratory tract, leading to coughing, difficulty breathing, and potential lung damage. Prolonged exposure may cause pulmonary edema, that is fluid in the lungs. Skin and eye contact of Dequat. Direct contact can cause severe irritations, burns, and ulceration. Prolonged exposure may lead to systemic absorption through the skin, increasing toxic risks. Chronic exposure risks, such as kidney and liver damage, already discussed. Neurological effects. Dequat may affect the nervous system, potentially causing symptoms like tremors, confusion, or seizures in the case of significant exposure. What about the people who are going to be spraying it? Potential carcinogenicity. While data of Dequat's carcinogen, why do I always put these hard words in there, is limited, its chemical similarity to paraquat, which is what Chris Webby talked about yesterday, a known toxic herbicide, raises concern about long-term risks. though no definitive link to cancer has been established. Now, here's the one that really blows me away, because it's the reason why DQuat is being applied here. Environmental and indirect exposure. DQuat's persistence in water and soil can lead to contamination of drinking water or food crops, posing risks to communities near treated areas. This was a key concern in the UK, where spray drift was found to endanger residents near agricultural fields. Farm workers and applicators face heightened risks due to occupational exposure, particularly without proper protective equipment. None of this is good. Again, we know that the UK has banned it. It's everywhere that the UK has banned it. And all I ever hear, and what we've heard lately, is that, did you ever notice that the stuff that they allow in our foods, or the things that we consume, they're banned in other countries like the UK? Here's another. And I was under the impression we were supposed to be more like the more civilized United Kingdom, or those in Europe, the way they do it in Europe. And here we are. And no stories, not one. Not even one person investigating it. And it's not like the newsrooms haven't been called. It's not like people who are in the press haven't been made aware. People are going into their inboxes and calling their news media and telling them, hey, what's the story on this? No callbacks, no interest. Makes you wonder why. We'll delve into that. We're going to take your phone calls. We are going to the Odyssey app and WTIC.com. So we got the Red Sox game coming in because I got rained out yesterday. But if you want to catch the rest of the show, you got to go to the Odyssey app or go to WTIC.com so that you can watch the rest of the show. If you do have some more info, I want to hear from you. Do not hesitate. If you got questions, that's fine. Bring them. We'll pay some bills. Get on the phones if you can, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842, or go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com, which Susan is telling me there's an audio problem. I'm going to work on that right now, find out what that is, Susan. I apologize. I was in a roll. I didn't see you. I was on a roll. So we'll figure that out as well. But if you'd like to join in the conversation, do that. 860-522-WTIC, or go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com, where you can chat with me live. And I'll see your comments in there. If you've got anything to add or a link, you can do that also in the chat room. I will get it immediately. Okay? So with that, just switch over to WTIC.com. And if you do have the Odyssey app, go there as well. So we'll join you in a minute, and we'll take some phone calls. Who do I got on hold? Okay, Fulton's calling. We'll get to him on the other side. Gotta go. Bye.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Need good tech advice?
Must be a computer error.
Tune into the Gold.com award-winning Computer Talk with Tab. Saturday mornings 9 to 11 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I love technology.
Eric Simmel and Dennis Howland of Tab Computer Systems will keep you updated with tech news you can use and answer your technology questions live on the air. Miss a program? Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in from anywhere via the Odyssey app. Computer Talk with Tab. Saturday mornings on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free.
.230 Hartford temperature 81 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We'll have the mix of clouds and sun, and we'll keep temps in the 80s today. All the forecast details coming up. Holiday getaway beginning. Those making their way to 4th of July destinations by road or air are advised to leave early and pack their patience. Over 800,000 Connecticut residents are traveling 50 miles or more, according to AAA. Sean Diddy Combs beat the rap on his the most serious charge at his sex trafficking trial in Manhattan. He was convicted on 2 prostitution charges. Bail hearing set for 5 this afternoon. Ticks have closed at Bridgeport Beach. City leaders say Pleasure Beach is closed for the summer while they deal with that infestation. They said the hope is that they'll be able to reopen the beach in 2026. Trump administration will hold back delivering to Ukraine some air defense missiles, precision-guided artillery, and other weapons as part of its announced pause to some arms shipments. And the House is holding a procedural vote on the budget bill. Of course, this bill came out of the Senate yesterday after Vice President Vance broke a 50-50 tie. WTIC News Time, 2:31. Here's Bob with the forecast.
During the afternoon, we'll see sunshine mixing in with the clouds, highs in the 80s. Tonight will be clear to partly cloudy with lows mostly in the 60s. We'll start out sunny Thursday morning, then a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow afternoon with the threat for a thunderstorm later in the day and tomorrow evening. Highs near 90 in Hartford tomorrow. Any showers or storms end early tomorrow night, followed by clearing. Lows by sunrise Friday, 58 to 65 degrees. Friday and the weekend look great. The 4th of July, sunshine, comfortably low humidity, highs the low 80s to around 85. The humidity remains in check Saturday with highs to the mid-80s. It turns hotter and more humid Sunday, highs getting into the low 90s. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Red Sox and the Reds are coming up. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
We just go live?
No, not yet, because I haven't switched you over yet.
Oh.
Red Sox are going to win the game. Get the wall, he looks up, and this thing is out of here. My goodness. Connor Wong got one up into the jet stream. Swinging a drive high and deep down the left field line. It is back at the wall. It's gone. Refsnyder launches one high and deep.
Once again, we have hooked up issues.
Boston Red Sox base.
So let me run over to Bob because the system is not letting me switch you over.
Okay. News Talk 1080.
The left fielder, left-handed hitter. Bayo fires, and it's a fastball taken for a strike. Lux came over in a trade from the Dodgers in January. He lined to left in his only at-bat last night against Richard Fitz.
Backdoor breaking ball for a strike, a cutter from Brian Bale.
So I think in a perfect world, Bayo goes 5 solid innings, offense scores some runs, and if you need to, you can turn the ball over to Chapman, who's only thrown once over the last week.
Bale looks in for the sign and fires, and it's a fastball, and on the feet of Lux has him skipping out of the way. 85 degrees, really no breeze. And cloud cover here at Fenway, mostly cloudy skies. The lights are on. And the 1-2 pitch is a breaking ball in on the feet of Lux, taken for ball 2. Nesson still using the old style graphics as a nod toward 1975, 50th anniversary of the World Series between these two franchises. Fastball up and away. Narvaez tried to frame it, didn't get the call, and it's a full count.
Yeah, this has been the issue with Bayo and a couple other guys in this rotation, getting to 2 strikes and not being able to put guys away. The miss is just too big with 2 strikes, not enticing any swings.
Here's the payoff pitch, and it's ball 4 way inside, a sinker that had Lux skipping out of the way again. So a 1-out walk. Reds have the tying run aboard. And the batter is Spencer Steer. Right-handed hitter. He's their first baseman. Fly to right against Fitz in the 2nd inning last night. And the pitch is under his arms and taken for a ball. Lux not much of a threat to run, just 1 stolen base in his only attempt. The big hole on the right side of the infield as Toro holds the runner. Swing and a high fly ball down the left field line and pretty well hit. Duran looking up, and that ball's gone. Into the first row of the monster seats. Wasn't a towering blast, just a high fly ball. Really a Fenway home run. It just barely cleared the left field wall between the foul pole and the first light tower. It's a 2-run homer for Spencer Steer. And Cincinnati takes the lead for the first time in this game. It's 3-2.
That was a cutter from Bayo. Pitch has been really good for him since he's added it over his last couple starts. That one, though, he left right down Main Street.
Well, at least
10 homers for Steer, 35 runs batted in. Bayo throws strike 1 called to Jose Trevino, a sinker on the outside corner.
Steer stays hot. He had 4 homers last week. He was NL Player of the Week after that,
including 3 in 1 game. The 1-strike pitch is a chopper foul over by the Reds dugout. On the third base side, Cincinnati managed by Terry Francona. Twice a world champion in 8 years as the skipper of the Red Sox. Only Joe Cronin managed more games for Boston than Francona's 1,296. And Alex Cora is now 4th on that list with Pinky Higgins in between. The 2-strike pitch is line foul into the roof boxes on.
Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they rejoin their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors, Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org today.
I can assume we're back. I will assume that we're back. I guess we'll just wait. Anyway, while you guys are waiting online, let me get to you. Roland, can you hear me?
Check, 1, 2.
I'm good to go, sir, when you are.
All right, thank you.
All right. Are we good to just finish with the show now?
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's a lot louder over here online, I'll tell you that. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Just to let you know, I got other news I need to get into as well, so stick around for that. I know that you all can't stay as long as you do. I've got headlines coming up. I've got to talk later on in the day about this story with Governor Ned Lamont and oil furnaces. I'm sure you heard about it. This guy doesn't quit. First, it's the electric cars. Now we got oil furnaces. Like, really, dude, just really. Anyway, we'll see how soon we can put a stop to that. Also, we've got a guest coming up as we were supposed to have him on Tuesday, but we worked it out. Ben Wetmore, who is the board president of Project Veritas, he'll be joining us today to talk about Elvira Saeed. She is the woman who was a part of their two-part series or two-part expose on Reverend Alan Miller and the Metropolitan Community Church in Hartford. We'll talk about that one. Yeah, Fulton, where everybody else is here. And also the stupidest thing I read today, which is about Disney. And we'll get to that in a second. But let me get to your phone calls since we're talking about DQuat. Mark in West Hartford is here. What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing good, and I did something that I just did last week
for
another very important issue. I just called all 4 news stations, Fox 61, NBC Connecticut, WFSB, and WTNH.
Right.
WTNH spent the most time with me saying that we're aware of it. So what I did is I called up and I said, are you guys going to cover the application of the chemical DQuat? Are you aware of it, first of all? And if so, yeah, we're aware of it. So TNH spent about 5 minutes back and forth that he was talking about a protest. I go, I get there's a protest. I could care less about getting comments down there. It's nice that people are protesting. You need to go to the governor's office. You need to call an authority from deep. You need to call an expert with chemicals and find out. You need to look at the history of this stuff.
Right.
And he kept referring to the protest, and he wouldn't tell me if they're covering it. I said, listen, I'm not asking about the protest. Let me rephrase it. Are you covering it or not? Besides the protest, are you covering the application? And he said, not at this time. Wow. The other 3 stations all said they're aware of it, not at this time. And guess what I resurrected just from last week? And I go, while we're on the phone, what's your plan on covering the Metropolitan Church? Because last week you did the same thing. You're aware of it. And then they're, one person, another, that was NBC, and they were aggravated. I go, you encourage us to call the tip line, but when we want you to cover something that we want you to cover, and I speak on behalf of a lot of people, This isn't a one-off where I'm the only person. I said, then you don't want to hear from us. In fact, you're aggravated right now.
Yeah.
You should be thanking me. You should want to know the pulse of the people that are watching your show. We want to know about this chemical. And then it go, oh, no, you took us the wrong way. Well, that's after they already established that they were annoyed that I'm telling them what to cover. And, even the Metropolitan thing, I go like, what is your plan on covering? Are you aware? Did you watch the Veritas, Project Veritas? Oh, yeah, we're aware. I go, so what will prompt you to piggyback? Is it because you didn't? And again, you and I know this. Yeah. They hate when somebody else scoops a story. Assuming, and I always tell them, I go, why? Do you think that maybe somebody might just exclusively watch you? Wouldn't you want to cover it just to cover that base?
Yeah.
Like some people are just loyal to you. So what, not cover it because you think they got it somewhere else? They're awful. Local news, these reporters are unbelievable.
You know what? That's the thing I don't understand. And I think you just pretty much cleared up the whole deal. Like, why have a tip line if you are going to be selective with it? Are you sitting around looking for stories? Like, are you telling the audience, hey, if you know a story we're not covering, hit us up on the tip line. And then they go through it and they go, never mind. We're not interested in that. And you call them out. Look, this is not a story where, man bites dog. I get the interest in a story like that. But this has so many applications to it on the level of one. We have Blumenthal, who's involved, clearly, the guy who fundraises off of it. You got Chris Webby.
I brought him up, too.
Exactly.
Yep.
You got Chris Webby, who is a local entertainer, well-known in the state. So there's a degree of celebrity here who's getting involved in a human interest story that you can at least talk to or interview him who's willing to speak. I mean, a guy I said, you know how I got him? It was so crazy. I sent an email to his sort of like request for him to perform at an event. Like if you want him to perform, they had an email. So I sent the email saying I'd love to have him on the show. I got a response from him in an hour, and then he emailed me on top of it. So it's not
with
like
that record, Reese. I should have you email all the elected officials and appointed officials in West Hartford for me, but never answer one email.
Exactly.
In the years I've been doing it. Maybe you found your niche.
It was insane. I couldn't believe this stuff. And they got so many elements to this story. Plus, right now, there's this big debate going on whether or not they should shoot the bears or not because people have been attacked by bears. So there's an interest, if you will, in wildlife. I just saw a story about the Fishing Commission. All of these stories are about, and again, summer's happening. Let's not forget that, where people are going to be visiting the waterways. So it's got everything that says, hey, cover this damn story. And they're going, we're thinking about it?
And you know who would? You know what? You know when they would have covered it? If Blumenthal called their office to cover it, or Governor Lamont, or pick any elected official that always gets somehow them is clear. Any of them, they all have. But this is all set up for them, right? It's on the plate, it's on the table, and all these guys got to do at all 4 news stations is sit down and eat. It's already there for you.
Exactly.
And they don't want to do it.
Which again,
I gotta leave you with this one thing because. But
I was just going to say, it leaves the impression that they're not covering it because they don't want the public to know and to push back. So it's almost as if because
everything is intentional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if Blumenthal
is intentional with the local media.
Right. So if Deep wants to do it and Blumenthal wants to do it, the media, by not covering it and keeping the audience in the dark, is giving them permission to it. Because if they do, right now, they just released that if there's a public response to this that's allowed within 30 days, if people know about it, they'll respond to it and probably push back. So it almost gives the impression the media doesn't want pushback, so they're aiding and abetting public officials, elected officials, from keeping them in the dark. That's what I think. That's the only way I can look at it.
What they always done. And I got to backtrack, though, only because it was upsetting to me. So Christine called you a few days ago, and I listened to the call. And I've got to ask you probably something you can't answer. I hope she's listening. You know, why didn't she videotape and post images or again, a video of this police presence? I think that would have been pretty telling and informational for people on social media. Why didn't she record her conversation with the
Reverend Miller,
Pastor Miller?
Yeah.
And why didn't she, at that point, you know me, I mean, listen, not that people don't know, I've set you up with many interviews. What do you think I would have done when I met him? I'd go hey, you go on the air with my friend Reese. I'm almost like a unpaid producer here.
I know.
Why didn't she facilitate a conversation between Pastor Miller and you?
Yeah, those are all great questions. I have my theories about why that didn't happen. Not to disparage Christine. That's has nothing to do with that.
No, I'm not. But you lose credibility.
Yeah,
you lose credibility. I'm sorry. With
like
me
I said,
anyway,
in my view, you're right. Because in essence, I kind of feel like Christine would, in essence, be sort of a proxy or an interview through proxy in some way to get some details. Yep. And like I said, I don't know the reasoning behind that, but you make a good point. It's like I would have loved to have known, hey, look, if you weren't trying to do anything illegal, why did you scrub your telephone number? Why did Tony scrub his website? These things are not the actions of somebody who's on the up and up. That's all I'm saying.
She's finally on the inside. Yeah, and just for me, I'll bottom line it and then I'll go. She's on the inside and she's not letting us look on the inside. This is all she probably always wished for, is to be on the inside of a story. These are huge. I mean,
this is a huge story.
We're not even going to talk about it. You want to be on the inside.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a rear opportunity. Rear opportunity.
I know, but you know what it is? I'll tell you. That's okay. I was just going to say, for me, this has only inspired me, and this is the reason why I talked to Stephanie yesterday. This is the reason why I have to be physically there, because I almost feel like I'm never going to see my wife again once I get there, because there's so many stories I have to cover that I'm going to have to put boots to the ground. That's the only thing I'm going to have to do.
And we'll be able to do what I always dreamed of, and you know this. I used to beg hire me as an unpaid intern, give me the credentials, give me the itinerary, and I'll go out. I asked every host, and now we'll do it together. We'll go out together physically, and we'll go to the Capitol, or
Agreed.
wherever they're going to put a shovel in the ground, and now we'll be there. I've always wanted to do that.
Mark,
And it needs to be done.
you're
All right.
100% right.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you, buddy.
stop.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, diarrhea of the mouth. Talk to you
You
later.
got it. All right, real quick, let me get to Fulton. What's going on, sir? Thanks for holding. I know you called earlier.
I know. So you're a busy guy. But so what do we think about this? I mean, the 4th of July in Connecticut, I know you're not in Texas, but it's going to be hot. And who goes into ponds, lakes, rivers? Like, what kind of people, honestly? Like, let's be honest. What are they doing here? Why wouldn't they tell people? Why are they releasing on the most important weekend?
I don't. And again, from what we heard, it's not going to happen like immediately after the 4th of July, because according to the Army Corps of Engineers, they have released that the public response, right, the comment period is closing on July 13th. That's on a Sunday. So any response that the public has, they've got to do it during the week. More than likely, people will be out of town on vacation because the 4th of July is on Friday. Movies are being released on Wednesday this week, right? So what's today, Tuesday? Yeah, so everybody's going on vacation the week after the 4th of July, never the week before. So most people will be gone. They'll be busy doing other stuff, enjoying their summer vacations. They're not going to respond to this. And if you don't get a proper response...
That's what I tell people. The people that can afford can be gone.
Exactly.
People that can't afford are going to go in that lake and pond.
Listen,
and
you're 100% right. But what I'm saying in this particular
so what are they
case
doing? This is like COVID for the old people, but now it's going to be it's going to try to, it looks like they're killing us. I'm sorry, but it looks like they're giving you cancer so the Hartford Healthcare can make more money. But that's just what it looks like from my end.
Like I said, you're absolutely right. There are 5 theories. I'm going to talk about that in the middle. You've actually just touched on one of them, and I'll get to them in a bit.
I don't know. That's just, what are they going to wear?
No, dude, listen.
Spray it, and then I'm going to wear a bathing suit?
Listen, Fulton, it's never a conspiracy theory nowadays. It's just, for me, and nowadays, everything that's a conspiracy theory, in my view, is just something that's waiting to be true. That's all.
I got something. I've been thinking outside the box on one more thing.
Yeah.
I thought the church, right, the MBB there, or Miller, he could have like a baptism when they release it. If it's so safe, they could baptize themselves in that water, and hopefully, God willing,
Goodbye. Get out of here. Get out of here. All right. We don't have to take a break here, do we? Do we have to do that anymore? I keep forgetting. No. Okay, so we're straight through. All right, let me get to George in a quick second. Everybody, Zach is saying the audio is messed up again. I don't understand it. I'm going to try it again. I just fixed it a second ago. It looks like it was good to go. This Army Corps of Engineers, but it's sent by the U.S. Army, but it's the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers out of New England's district. They're the ones who put out this public notice. And if you haven't seen it, go online. I'm sure you're able to find it because everyone is posting it. And they're learning about it online because there's been no report on it, as you just heard from Mark. He called all of these networks. They all know about it. They haven't even put this Army Corps of Engineer notice on their websites for people to read. No newspaper has done it. No one has. And the fact that there is no interest is, it's evident that there is no interest in it. And I can make a bunch of assumptions as to why, but I really do believe that a story like this, look, how do I put this? A story like this can make your career if indeed reporters are still into that, which I know they are. But if you're the guy that's out there working for the people, bringing stories like this to them, and people are going to your news report is being shared with the rest of the state, what do you think happens? You're the guy. Yeah, I heard about it from Joe Schmo on Eyeball News on such and such station. They're sharing that, and you become the face of that report. That's how that works. And then because of that attention, you get put on the assignment. Let's do more stories like that. Clearly, the audience has an interest in it. The rest of it, now, when you call up a tip line and you speak to somebody and you say, hey, have you heard about this story? They're talking about putting this herbicide in the water that people are going to be playing in, and it's been banned in the UK. And your response to it is, yeah, we're aware of it. And then get annoyed when people are pressuring you. What do you mean you're aware of it? Is there any reports that are coming out? Has this been assigned to a journalist or a reporter? Or is this going to be a lead story? Is this a headline? And you get annoyed because somebody's inquiring like, who the F are you? Do you not understand your role? Your job is not to be a celebrity. You're not an actor in a film. You're not an actor on a TV show. Your job is to inform the public, the people of Connecticut. That's your role. You are a public servant. And where people are saying that, hey, listen, I'm Mark in West Hartford. Yes, I have a Twitter handle. Yes, I'm sharing the story with as many people as possible. But I think this is important enough for you guys to get on. Is it rumor? Is it innuendo? You guys have the resources to do that. Are you going to cover it? And you give dude an attitude? And then when it's recognized that you're giving it an attitude, oh, don't take it that way. How else are you supposed to take it? When you give the impression, I don't want to be bothered. On a story like this. If I was sitting at a news desk, and trust me when I tell you, I've been at a desk where I'm receiving phone calls at a morning show. When I started in this business, I was sitting at a phone collecting contest winners. Hey, you're the 9th caller. You win such and such and dummy dumb. And then get a phone call on there and somebody says to me, hey, I think you guys would be interested in this story. And I go, talk to me. Or give me a number to call you back where I can get in touch with you. I've done that. That's how I became the lead news guy at a network in a position they never, ever had. That was my job. Because I was again, sitting up there taking phone calls from the hotline for prizes. That was my role. I was a writer on the show and answering phones. And somebody would call up and say, hey, I'm not calling about the prize thing. Are you guys interested in this story? Man, this is going on and such and such and such. And because of doing that, I've actually been sent on assignment because of that tip. I would take that tip as an intern and take it to the host of the show. Hey, I got somebody on the line who's talking about this, that, and the third. Do you want to take it or do you want me to further investigate? No, put him through. No, get more information. That's how this is done. That's the reason why I wake up in the morning and I've got like 83 messages on Facebook. Reese, this, that, this. Have you seen this? It's not so much that I want to be trusted or I need to be trusted. It is nice to be trusted. But when people rely on you to get those stories out there, you do it. And I don't understand why no one's interested here. We can all be wrong. We can all be barking up the wrong tree. We could be creating a public havoc for no reason. Well, what would be a better opportunity to calm people's nerves? To let them know, hey, nothing to worry about. Everything is safe and sound. You going to let it grow on the internet? Huh? That's the place where nobody's supposed to be getting their news, right? They're supposed to be getting it from legitimate sources. Well, legitimate source, what's up? Like seriously. And again, I said this coming in 2022, when I started here at WTIC, I pushed back on every person who called this station saying The media won't cover it. The media won't cover it. And I said, you cannot rely on them to cover political news anywhere. We know where they are on politics. They hate Donald Trump. They love Joe Biden, or they cover Democrats. They love Chris Murphy. They love Dick Blumenthal. They love Governor Lamont. They love the Democrats. When it comes to Republicans, stop relying on them. But this, as Chris Webby said yesterday, this isn't partisan. This is drinking water. That's all this is. It's as simple as that. And people's natural concern. And when the Army Corps of Engineers, oh man, I'm sorry about that. That shouldn't have happened. Forgive me. Sorry about that. The Army Corps of Engineers puts out a note, puts out a letter that says this is happening, confirming that it's going to happen. And you don't do anything? You don't even report on that? You're giving us license to come up with every theory that we want. You're giving us license to speculate. You don't care about us. You don't care about what we know. You don't care about informing us. This renders you unreliable. Don't start asking questions about why your ratings are slipping. Don't start asking questions about no one trusts the news anymore or why your favorabilities are in the toilet. Don't start asking that question. We have the answer for you. It's all in our inbox. It's all on Facebook. It's all on the internet. You don't care. So if you don't, I guess we got to do the job for you. Happy to. Time to get some news here. Let's go to John Silva. He's in the newsroom on WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 3 o'clock, 83 degrees. Good afternoon. We'll have clouds. The humidity will start to come down, temps in the 80s. Sean Diddy Combs beat the rap on 3 of the 5 counts against him at his trial in Manhattan. Combs skated on the most serious charge, racketeering and sex trafficking, but was convicted on 2 prostitution-related offenses. Those could carry 10-year sentences. Katrina Kaufman was in the courtroom.
The prosecution is absolutely gunning for the max here. But Sean Combs also, when that verdict came in, he turned around to his family and he mouthed to them, "I'm coming home."
A bail hearing is set for 5. Judge expected to decide whether Combs can be released on bond. Doug Wigdor is the attorney for Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who testified against the defendants.
We're pleased that he's been held responsible for something, which is something that hasn't happened in his lifetime. And, we're hopeful that ultimately he receives a substantial sentence for what he's done.
Man accused of stabbing a Fairfield prep student to death at a 2022 house party in Shelton. Back on the witness stand on Tuesday. There's no court today. Raul Valley accused of stabbing Jimmy McGrath to death and 3 other teens who were injured during a brawl that broke out between rival high schoolers. Valley's attorney on Tuesday, Kevin Smith, questioned him in a way that suggests Valley acted in self-defense.
I kept flailing my arm around, just trying to get him away from me.
Were you aiming for anyone?
No.
Were you aiming for Ryan Hines?
No.
You weren't trying to kill Ryan Hines?
No.
What about Tommy Connery? You stabbed him 4 times in the leg. What were you trying to do to Tommy Connery?
Get them away from me.
Now, the jury is expected to receive its instructions tomorrow, after which deliberations could begin. In Idaho, Brian Koberger is appearing in a courtroom today to plead guilty to the murders of 4 people.
He'll spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole or appeal. Now, Koberger is accused of fatally stabbing 4 students in Moscow, Idaho in November of 2022. Their families are divided on how they view this plea deal.
That's CBS's Carter Evans reporting from Idaho. The Hartford Board of Education members hope that Dr. Andre Townsel's record of school turnarounds in Michigan and Maryland mean great things ahead for Hartford schools. They've named Townsend as school superintendent, the board's vice chair, Francois Daristel Ledger.
And what I really liked that he said was that he's not here to reinvent the wheel, but he's here to make the wheel roll. So he's not here to change Hartford. He's here to see what's needed and to get the work done so that Hartford can be better. Hartford Public Schools can be better.
Townsend is leaving Culver County, Maryland Public Schools after 3 years. President of that school system tells community members, quote, "It's unfortunate that the news was not shared directly with staff and stakeholders prior to its public release." Independence Day falling on a Friday means many Connecticut residents are getting a jump start on their holiday plans today. Tracy Noble is a spokeswoman for Greater Hartford AAA.
Well, AAA is actually predicting that over 849,000 Connecticut residents are going to be traveling for the July 4th holiday. That's up 2.3% over 2024. And even across New England, 3.5 million are going to travel.
Many of whom will go by motor vehicle. And a beach in Bridgeport's being shuttered for the rest of the summer. Officials say after consultation with state environmental officials, the discovery of multiple tick species at Pleasure Beach forced them to make the call. One of the ticks that's shown up is the invasive Asian longhorn tick. The city will now undertake a series of treatment and containment efforts in that area. They say the hope is that Pleasure Beach will reopen next year. WTIC News time is 3:04. Here's the forecast.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, a mix of clouds and sun, quite warm and humid with the high up to 87. Clear and humid tonight, the low only down to 64. For Thursday, mostly cloudy, very warm, a gusty thunderstorm during the afternoon and into the early evening. They could produce some localized damaging wind gusts, the high of 89 on Thursday. Beautiful day for Independence Day. 4th of July Friday, it'll be less humid with plenty of sunshine. Not as hot, the high up to 84. Partly cloudy Friday night. Great viewing conditions for fireworks. The low down to 58. Saturday, we'll have some filtered sunshine, and air quality is going to be poor for sensitive groups on Saturday. The high of 86. Then it's quite hot as we head into the day Sunday with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Make sure you stay well hydrated, rounding out the holiday weekend. The high jumping up to 95 on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather
I'm
Center.
John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Do you know a veteran in need? After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Who do I wrestle for?
Oh, a minute.
I wrestle on my high school team for Jason Garcia.
You got it.
My fiercest competitor during practice and my biggest fan during meets. I wrestle for my parents who practice what they preach. The importance of hard work, commitment, and dedication. I wrestle for the chance to put our little high school right here in Connecticut on the map.
Wearing the uniform of your high school comes with a big responsibility. Younger kids look up to you. Your teammates count on you. And the reputation of your high school depends on you. Do you have what it takes to participate in a high school sport?
And I wrestle for the glory that is mine when I do my best. That's who I wrestle for.
This message presented by the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference and the Connecticut Association of Athletic Directors.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, everybody stand by real quick because I think there's been a small action. By the way, Chris P., Thank you so much for that. I think you just put the link in the... Yes, you did. You put it on Facebook. I was trying to find it for you during the break, but I see you did. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Chris just posted on the Facebook page the Army Corps of Engineers notice, the 30-day notice. The only thing I noticed about this that was real crazy in all of this was it says a 30-day notice, and it says that the date this particular letter was sent out was June 11th, and the comment period closes on July 13th. The crazy part of that is no one got this letter publicly until the day before yesterday. The day before yesterday was the earliest that anyone found out anything about this. Let me open up this real quick before I get to view this content on your mobile. Okay. It looks like I am getting some traction on this, so forgive me. I know I'm doing this kind of in real time because the only way I'm going to get this is if I open it up and I actually read it. So I'm trying to get it as a PDF file, which is not helping me. And it is a statement. I may have to get it another way because, let me see if it actually opens up here. It looks like I have. Okay. This is a letter that has gone to Katie Dykes. Dear Commissioner Dykes, the attached X post has gone viral and has raised significant environmental and health concerns among state residents. Is there validity to the claims in this viral post? Can you please provide clarification regarding the risks of DQuat via a public statement as soon as possible? Any confirmation or information you can provide will be very much appreciated. This is signed Henry Martin Harding, and I believe someone else is on here, so I may need to go here. Oh, also Stephen Harding. Yes, Henry Martin and Stephen Harding has written this letter to Katie Dykes, who is the Deep Commissioner. So we are getting something. And I assume, and I said this earlier, when I tried to call Katie Dykes' office, I was sent to her communications department. And that phone was busy for at least 20 minutes as I waited to get through. So I'm under the impression others have reached out or were reaching out for Deep communications department to be literally sitting on hold for that long or busy for that long. So that letter has been sent by Stephen Harding and Henry Martin. They've sent that out to them, and we'll see whether or not we get a response, which, what else can you ask for? So at least public officials are getting involved. I guess Christine's calling to respond to to Mark and West Hartford's questions. Christine, how are you doing?
Hey, Reese, I don't know what Mark from West Hartford brought up, but I was just bringing up, you kind of might have brought point. I was going to say, where is our state legislatures? I haven't seen much about it. This must be new because I was up at that legislative office and building, a Capitol building, a lot during the session, and none, DOSQuat or DQuat was never at all. So you would think they would be on this. I'm just stunned at the lack of communication. But then again, this is Connecticut, where they can't run the government can't run a ice cream stand on the corner.
Well, at least, look, I'm glad that someone has written a letter and asked for a public response because, again, and this is breaking news. I mean, you can't put it any other way, that now people are asking questions and asking Deep to come public because you have to either put out a press release or you're going to have a public address, maybe even a press conference, because the protest will be covered. I mean, when's the protest going to happen? Over the weekend? Like, what good is that going to be? No one's going to be watching TV then. Other people are going to be, if it's 4th of July weekend, what interest is anybody going to have in that? So other than the people who are there. So I think that there needs to be a public response Hopefully there is. So, and I mean, we'll see that. I thought you were calling about Mark in West Hartford because he was asking in your conversation yesterday with, or was it Monday? I think it was Monday. With your conversation with Reverend Miller. Why? Well, his question was, why didn't you ask Reverend Miller to take an interview with me? You're not obligated to do that. He just asked. Not that I would expect you to do that. That's something Mark would do. But is there any reason why you didn't either record or get any sort of interaction with him on a recording? Not again that you had to. I'm just asking because that's Mark's question.
Well, I didn't plan on talking to him.
You didn't? Okay.
Reverend Miller asked me.
Okay. No, I know. Like I said, I wouldn't expect you to go there and be a proxy for the Reese on the Radio program. That has never been your role. But
I'll tell you,
go ahead.
Reese, I'll do that. If he asks me, I said, would you want to do a three-way talk? I could see if I could broker that.
Yeah, and you know what? If you can, because I know you know him, I can do it off the record. But I'll do it off the record. But like I said, I only want to ask two very important questions. Is one, did you, well, it's evident that you did give the binder to what you alleged was, or what you were told was a 12-year-old. Do you understand the illegality in doing that? That's important to note. And second, well, maybe there are three questions, but second would be, why is Tony scrubbing his face? I mean, his presence online, and he's supposed to be helping the youth. I mean, his presence now being scrubbed also appears to show that something improper took place for him to go into hiding. And if he can't answer that, that's fine. But I would say, because I know you don't have a good relationship with Tony, but you know,
no, that's an understatement.
Yeah, it's an understatement. But I'm just saying. He gives credence to the fact that he's not on the up and up, that he went into hiding after this report. Because he's not the one who's alleged to have done anything illegally. He's saying things that would give the impression, but you don't go dark, unless you got something to hide. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, if you want to, please just tell him. I'd love to ask him some questions. If he wants to keep it off the record, we can. If he wants to talk privately, we can do that. But I prefer that the audience know about it because I think it's in his best interest.
I agree. If he asks me, I will approach him and ask him if he wants to bring this up.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Here's the way I look at it, Christine, and you can express this to him. And I'm going to make this 100% clear to the audience and to Pastor Miller, okay? This is not extortion, Reverend Miller. This is in no way a threat, Reverend Miller. What I am expressing right now, if you're listening, and I'm only saying this because you could take this recording back to him so he can hear. Reverend Miller, this is what I'm suggesting to you. It is important that you address the public about what you are doing with regards to people's children and transitioning and this gender-affirming care. Especially now we have on the record that you are willing to do this with underage children without their parents' consent. We need you to address that. If you can't address that, apologize and no longer do it. Do not cease and desist from doing it. You have those two choices. Come and address it or cease and desist in doing so. If neither can be reached, because I think they're both fair, that I think that a protest should begin at your church. I think that parents and other folks in the community who are opposed to this behavior that you are not willing to denounce and you are not willing to address should be made public or people to protest to ask you to cut it out and to stop it. But I think that we have a fundamental right and I think we have a fundamental duty to ask that faith leaders not be propositioning children to have this surgery without parents' knowledge. And it should be met with legal and proper response. If you are not willing to say, I made a mistake, that's wrong, we shouldn't do it, we should not do it without, and even go so far as to say, I will never contact DCF on a parent again, which we know he did. So what all we want him to do is to denounce his behavior. If he wants to give that help to people who are of age and with parents' consent, hey, we can poo-poo it all day, but he's doing it the proper way and he's doing it legal. But this behavior can't be done with anymore. And we're not just going to allow him to just sit back in the darkness and put police officers protecting him like some odd reason his life is at risk. He's putting children's life at risk. There's no police protection for them. So that's all I'm saying to him is just to say, hey, this is an opportunity to do a good thing. We apologize. We won't do it again. And from now on, we'll only deal with children who have their parent consent, and we won't do anything like this again. And they'll be on the right side of this. That's all. Fair?
Reese, those are very fair. That's very fair points. And if he mentions it to me, I'll be glad to.
Well, convey it to him. I would put it this way. Convey it to him. If you go to the church again, you can even find this audio and clip it. I'll even clip it for you, and I'll send it to you and allow him to listen to it. And if he wants to respond to it, he can. You can tell him he doesn't have to do it physically. He can tell you what the response is. Other than that, fine. If he has no comment, okay. We'll take it at that.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I think that's only fair. Because, that's the whole problem here. Is that doing this whole nonsense of like swiping your, getting rid of your telephone number and your email and your website, doing all of that stuff. The news media is going to protect you. They're never going to hold you to account. So you get to be in hiding and then you call the police department. Oh, protect us. People are threatening us. Oh, stand outside of our church because people are trying to harm us. Can you put a velvet rope out there and play bouncer and ask people why they're coming to our church? Whatever's needed, please. And you don't get to address the fact that you contacted DCF on a parent? That you are caught on tape addressing a 12-year-old child without the parents' consent and gleeful about it, expressing the love they're going to get. Once they transition, you're going to be so loved. And you don't want to address that by just saying, hey, error in our ways, we apologize. We will no longer behave in that fashion. You think you're going to do the former and just protect yourself, isolate yourself? Why would you think that would be permissible? Because you think people are afraid? Because you think that they're going to be called bigots and homophobes if they stand up for their children and their parental rights? Those days of shaming people are over. That's a wrap, dude. Nobody's going to risk the well-being of their child. No one is going to wake up like Elvira Saeed and not have their sons and daughters alive. Nobody's going to do that anymore. Nobody's going to run the risk of their kids taking their own life behind this ideology. If that's the case, we might as well just hand the kids the pills, hand them the razor blades. Dude, nobody's doing that. And the parents who are out there who are aiding and abetting this nonsense, going to your silly little circuses and your hidden camps, God bless them. God bless them. That's their kids. Do what you want to do with their kids. But these parents who are in the dark that you're taking advantage of, single moms that are trying to make ends meet, take care of their kids that you're focusing on, and then calling DCF on them and getting them out of the way? You think people are just going to stand up there and allow it? Nope. Nah. No. And people are outraged at that. What's up, Rudy? How are you?
Oh, what a topic. I hope Connecticut survives their Agent Orange fiasco, which is probably going to drain out of the Connecticut River into the Long Island Sound, picked up by the Gulf Stream, and destroy the Rhode Island coast and Cape Cod. It should be lovely.
It's worse than that, though. Rudy, it's worse than that because, again, Although this is
that's
happening
true.
in Connecticut, it's going to be in other states as well. This is not just
I know.
isolated.
So I want to call about the hot topic. I don't want to sound judgmental.
Okay.
But I've had these conversations with Pastor Will on air, and he was best friends with my pastor in Connecticut.
Okay.
And that Pastor Miller is going completely against the Bible, and he will pay on Judgment Day. If he's a true Christian and believes in God, he has to deep down inside know that when he faces God, he's going to answer to this. Anyone, I don't know how much like Bible reading you've done and stuff like that.
A lot when I was a kid. Yes, absolutely.
So I'm not pro-religion. I go to non-denominational churches. That's not religion. Religion is like your Catholic, Protestant, Presbyterian, whatever.
Sure.
I go to a Bible-based church.
Okay.
Genesis 1:27 makes it clear that God created each of us in the image of Him that He wanted. So this pastor is altering God's work by changing their sex. Anybody, and he can take it any way he wants, is violating God's word if he's trying to be a woman when he's a man, or man being a woman.
Indeed.
I don't know if you saw Leah Thomas.
Yes.
Got stripped of all his awards and medals.
Yep.
And even University of Pennsylvania disowns all of his records and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But he will have to answer to God. Redstock's going to have to answer to God. Like they all are. God created us how He wanted us. I mean, you're going to have atheist people call back in, but if you're a true Christian and you've read the Bible, we're not supposed to be doing this stuff. We're not supposed to make our daughters into men, our men into daughters.
I'll tell you this. This is the part, people have made comments about the term an abomination when they talk about LGBTQ ideology. But I got to tell you, how can it not be an abomination that a reverend at a church is helping people defy God and change the image that He made them in? How is that not that's the full description of abomination.
Exactly, and it's wrong. And I mean, I work with a couple lesbian cooks, a couple gay cooks. They are sick to their stomach over this stuff. They hate that those initials get attached to the end of LGBTQ. They don't want anything to do with them.
You're so right about that. You're so right about it.
At work, we call them shims. SHIM.
So do I. That's what I say. I say shim and herm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hope they get right with God. I mean, some of them, I mean, I've heard Chris talk about it, that it was gender dysphoria and it got changed by the medical community.
Yeah.
It's a mental illness. It's not reality. It's a mental illness. And
but the beauty of that,
I'll tell you what happened.
Rudy, I'm going to have to go to a break, but the beauty of what you're talking about is that even clinicians who are supportive of these transitions note gender dysphoria, and they believe that the treatment for it are these treatments, right? So
our treatment here is if you go in the women's room at our restaurant in a dress and a wig, you're not coming back out unless it's on an ambulance.
Gotta go.
You might even get shot by one of the girls in the bathroom.
I know. I've seen it done. Gotta go, buddy. Thank you, man.
To 30.
Oh, all right. Anyway. Joe, I've got some last minute stuff that I got to get to. And speaking of which, we've got Ben Wetmore coming up in a little bit. He is the board president of Project Veritas. So we will have him on shortly in roughly about 4:15. We'll have him on. And don't forget, if those people who are listening on the app, don't worry. If you can't stick around, you can always come back to WTIC.com or download the Odyssey app because the show is there. But I have got far better news than that. Try this on for size. Applaud. It must be applause. let me read this because I want it to be perfect. And when I saw it, I went, what? No way. But here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, you can listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app, iHeartRadio, and the TuneIn app as well. That's right. So if you missed any part of the show, try this outside. If you missed any part of the show, you can listen anytime you want to. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. That's right. All you have to do is search for Reese on the Radio. And the show's there. It's there. It's everywhere. We go big time, baby. We big time. So now you can find it anywhere. WTIC is everywhere. It's everywhere. It's all over you. All over you. Like a comfy. What do they call those things? A whoopee? Is that what they used to call them back in the days? Is anybody on the East Coast called it a whoopee? I thought it was a West Coast thing. Did you ever hear that term, Roland? A whoopee?
I have no idea.
It's like a kid's security blanket.
Oh.
We called it security blankets when we were kids. You know, but now, I mean, I heard on the West Coast they call it a whoopee. I've never heard that. First time I ever heard that was on a movie with Michael Keaton called Mr. Mom. And his youngest, well, not the baby, the middle child needed a whoopee. And it was an all torn up, ratty blanket that he could not get rid of. And when he became the woman of the house, he finally convinced her to get rid of the whoopee because it was all torn up. That's the first time I'd ever heard that term. And then I heard other people on the West Coast refer to it as a whoopee. I always thought it was just that. All right, we got to get to news with John Silva coming up. And soon we've got Jason Catarinas and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center with weather and traffic. So let's do that now. John Silva with news on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And now, a WTIC news update.
Good afternoon, 3:30, 85 degrees. A beach in Bridgeport is being closed for the summer due to a tick infestation. City leaders are closing Pleasure Beach and the fishing pier. Among the ticks that have been discovered, the invasive Asian longhorned tick. Local leaders are working with state environmental officials to deal with the issue. Day off in the house party murder trial in Milford tomorrow. The jury receives its instructions and deliberations could begin to decide the fate of Raul Valley. He is accused of stabbing one person to death and injuring three others in a melee that broke out between rival high schools at a party in Shelton in 2022. Sean Diddy Combs convicted on 2 prostitution counts at his trial in Manhattan today. He got off on the most serious charge. Judge set to hold a 5 o'clock bail hearing to see if he is released on bond as he awaits sentencing on the 2 charges for which he was convicted. Brian Kohberger pleading guilty to murder in the 2022 stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students in a deal to avoid the death penalty. He will appear in court today to enter the plea, which comes after his attorneys failed to remove execution as a possible punishment. House Republicans sprinting toward a vote today on President Trump's tax and spending cuts package, despite opposition from some Republicans. He's been meeting with Republican leaders at the White House, although some House Republicans say they'll vote no unless changes are made. WTIC News time is 3:32. Here's the forecast.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, it'll be quite warm and humid with a mix of clouds and sun, the high up to 87. Clear and humid tonight, the low only 64. Then as we head into Thursday, mostly cloudy, very warm, a gusty thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening that could produce some localized damaging wind gusts, the high up to 89. Friday for 4th of July, a beautiful day for Independence Day, less humid with lots of sun and the high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's down 27, NASDAQ is up 168, S&P's up 22. Top of the 8th, it is tied between the Reds and the Red Sox, the resumption of last night's suspended game. Of course, we'll have the game on the radio, the regularly scheduled game on the radio, 6:10, the pregame there. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Need good tech advice?
Must be a computer error.
Tune into the Gold.com award-winning Computer Talk with Tab. Saturday mornings 9 to 11 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
God, I love technology.
Eric Semmel and Dennis Howland of Tab Computer Systems will keep you updated with tech news you can use and answer your technology questions live on the air. Miss a program? Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in from anywhere via the Odyssey app. Computer Talk with Tab. Saturday mornings on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
It's Reese on the Radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
It's a little late, but let's do it. Let's get some headlines in here. Paramount Global and CBS have agreed yesterday to pay President Trump the sum that could reach north of $30 million to settle the president's election interference lawsuit against the network. Trump will receive $16 million up front, according to the report. This will cover legal fees, cost of the case, and contributions to his future presidential library or charitable causes, to be determined at Trump's discretion. Well, here's where the story gets crazier. There's an anticipation that there will be another allocation in the mid-8 figures set aside for advertisements, public service announcements, and other similar transitions in support of conservative causes by the network in the future. It's according to Fox Digital. With these considerations, they say, CBS could pay well more than the excess of the $15 million they've already allocated, or the $15 million that ABC already had to pay. So the presidential library, forget about it. I mean, I don't know where it's going. I don't think it's going to New York. It's probably going in Florida. It'll probably be in Florida. A disturbing link between Parkinson's disease has been found. We were talking about this yesterday, and I didn't know. And again, I apologize for not knowing this. I always thought Richard Pryor had Parkinson's. I did not know he had multiple sclerosis. But in that conversation, I saw this story. A disturbing link between Parkinson's disease and living beside a golf club has been revealed in a new study. It says living near a golf course might come more than just I'm reading this poorly. It could carry certain hidden health risks. A new study has revealed a troubling connection between the proximity of golf courses and the likelihood of developing Parkinson's disease. The research focused on residents in southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin, where pesticides used on golf courses may be a key factor. Of course, it's still being studied. Also, new research shows that desserts, spicy foods, meats, and cereals can also lead to bad dreams. I remember an episode of Different Strokes as a kid. Don't ask me how I remember this stuff, okay? Where Arnold, played by Gary Coleman, could not sleep because he was having nightmares. And at the end of the episode, it turns out the reason why he was having them was because at night he was sneaking into the kitchen to have cold pizza and cold chicken. Yeah, so they're saying that certain foods can affect your dreams, especially if you have food sensitivities, like lactose intolerance or allergies that can cause digestive distress. Dairies and sweet top the list of foods people blame for nightmares. and bizarre dreams, while fruits and veggies and herbal teas are linked to better sleep. This is propaganda. I don't believe this. There's no way this is just get people to eat apples and oranges, which, by the way, I already do. A familiar Canadian hockey city may be getting another hockey franchise, or at least its lower ranks. It looks like the New York Islanders organization is thinking about leaving Bridgeport. Yeah, Bridgeport, Connecticut. The Bridgeport Islanders, the American Hockey League affiliate of the New York Islanders, is expected to relocate in Hamilton, Ontario for the 26-27 season. The move isn't official yet, but there are reports that say that they will be leaving. So there's another hockey team that's leaving the Bridgeport area. Long Island is hoping that the team will move to the Nassau Coliseum instead of going to Ontario. But it looks like Ontario is going to be its spot. So here you have it. First the Whalers, now the Bridgeport Islanders. And another sad thing out of Hartford. You may not know this, but folks, please be careful. I am very nervous about this subject. I'm always concerned if I see ants anywhere. But Hartford, Connecticut has made the biggest leap in Orkin's 2025 top 50 bed bug cities. That's right. Debuting at number 35 this time after jumping an unprecedented 48 spots to get to number 35, indicating a significant increase in bed bug activity. In contrast, Charlotte, North Carolina, number 31, Philadelphia, number 24, and New York at 15. They all saw significant drops, suggesting that fewer reported bedbug infestations compared to the previous year. But Hartford gets the distinction of biggest leap. The biggest leap in bedbug infestations. Please be careful out there. Like I said, I am insanely scared to death. Scared to death of bugs. I hate them. And bed bugs is definitely on that list. Also, last but not least, I saw this. I don't know if you sent your kids out to go see the movie Elio. This is the new Disney movie. This is a sad story because Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond, you know, the brother, the deep voice brother, he's actually one of the voices. I'm kind of a big fan of his. And I wanted to see the movie just because I hear his role is pretty funny. And he is a funny guy, naturally funny guy. But I really wouldn't have watched the cartoon under any other circumstances. This is not helping. It turns out that Elio didn't do well in the box office. And it may be because of some rumors that were coming out before the movie ever was released. And that was the character, the 11-year-old boy named Elio, who's a Latino who wears a patch, who wants to be abducted or visited by aliens. Well, it turns out that the original draft of the film was going to make Elio queer. And now members of Disney are saying that the reason why the movie bombed is because they chose not to make Elio queer. And I think it's the other way around. If reports came out, if they were promoting this as saying that, you know, Elio is going to be their second main character or queer character, that may have turned a lot of parents off because they don't want that agenda in the film. So Elio didn't do well, and it's probably a very funny movie, and it's probably not going to get the love that it deserves as a good movie, because I saw the trailer and I thought, oh, that seems sweet. A little boy who doesn't have any friends and wants to meet aliens and everybody thinks he's weird. I can totally relate to that. Brought me right back to my childhood, where I thought that I was an alien because there was no way I was related to my family members. I really did believe that. I was like, I'm not related to these people. It's no way. Nope. I got an older sister who dresses like Michael Jackson. Oh, yeah. I got a little brother who, for some odd reason, cannot stay out of jail. I was like, I'm not there's no way am I related to these people at all. I was like, I've got to be an alien. Or I was switched at birth. And it doesn't help. Let me tell you this. This is not going to help. I'm going to get in trouble. If my sister was listening, she would probably echo this sentiment. So imagine there's a three of you. Now, my younger brother and sister, notwithstanding, but before they came along, and my youngest sister is 12 years younger than me, and my youngest sister's 10 years younger than me, and my youngest brother is 12 years younger. They're 2 years apart. So imagine for 10 years, I have got a brother and sister. I'm the middle child. So I got my sister Christine and my brother Charles. And both of them are dark-skinned. And I'm relatively light. At the time, I was, as my mother used to use the term, well, it's still a common term. Is it a common term, Roland, to still say high yellow? Is that still?
No, people don't say that no more.
That was the term. But wait a minute, you do recognize the term, right? What do they not use that anymore? Who the heck is that? Oh, I'm sorry. That's
you.
That's me. It sure enough is me. Why would that happen? Somebody trying to contact me while I'm on the air. That was me. I apologize for that. That means I have to, you know what it is? I'll tell you that my Bluetooth is connected to my phone, and that's off. That's weird. Okay, it was off. It shouldn't have happened.
I got you. Your hip bone connected to your thigh bone.
You never heard?
I got you.
Okay, but you did hear the term high yellow before.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. You said they don't use it anymore? When did it
Yeah,
come
I only hear older people use that.
Oh, okay. So that's probably why, because I'm an older person. Well, I was raised by older people. But yeah, that's probably why. What was it? North Carolina amendment on agreeing to the amendment. What? What type of ridiculous thing is that? They're doing a house test on the big, beautiful bill. Okay. So me being the middle child, I've got a dark-skinned older sister and a dark-skinned younger brother. And I'm the middle child, and I'm light-skinned, relatively. Now, how do I put this? We all three of us have.
You think you're light-skinned?
No. Today I'm darker. Far.
I would say you're more of a caramel complexion.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's so funny. There's a song written about me called Caramel.
Is it caramel or caramel? Everybody says it.
Everybody says it different. My wife gets on my case about that as well. But yeah, caramel is definitely my complexion now. But when I was younger, very light skinned. My dad, in fact, as a Panamanian, is incredibly light skinned. In fact, he was called Blanco as a kid. He was like a white guy with curly hair.
Wow.
And Panamanian at that. And he was lighter than all the rest of his siblings. So his sisters made a big deal out of that too. Which also made him weirdly stealth as a heroin dealer in Harlem. It's like, I guess no one suspected him. It's like, that's some white guy. They never suspected he was a drug dealer. But anyway, I don't know. That goes without saying. Nonetheless, so in living in that household with two siblings who were dark-skinned, you're the odd man out. As a light-skinned, I'm adopted or switched at birth. There's no way I speak differently than the two of them. They are very, very Ebonics, speaking. I was not like that. I mean, I think I came out of the womb speaking the King's English. I did. I feel like the way I was brought up, I was immediately like a very immaculate young man. I was like, Mother, pass me the chitlins, please.
Ugh.
What? Yeah, I believe these hog moths are undercooked. Oh, are we having cornbread today? Yes, it was very, that's the way I was when I was a kid. And the rest of them, they were all ghettofied. So I was a little different. I was just a little different. So this movie, Elio, that's what we were talking about, by the way, if you're just joining us. That was what I thought when I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, poor little kid is an outcast. Kids think he's weird. He's hoping that, he's very much into space. an alien life. He's hoping that one day, like, will this be the day that aliens finally contact him so he can be whisked away? He's just looking for somebody to be a friend. Aliens will be my friend. I get them, they'll get me.
Yeah, recently I was watching that Ironheart.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch that?
Yeah, the first 3 episodes. And there's a lot of
Alien stuff?
fakeness, I would say.
Yeah, it's a lot of fakeness. I know, it's
She
really, really bad.
had a Iron Man suit on the train. And nobody tried to do anything to her about it. They just surrounded her and let her be on a train with an Iron Man suit.
You have to remove any disbelief for this thing. It's the Marvel Universe.
I
You know?
was like, what?
You remember the world was saved by a raccoon and a tree.
Yeah.
Okay? It's the
I
Marvel
am
Universe.
Groot. Yeah, it's my guy.
Richard A. asked, who's your daddy, Reese? My daddy, his name, his name was Eddie. And he was, I don't know if he was a big deal. He was just, as my mother would say, he was just some light-skinned boy, as she would refer to him, who was smooth with the ladies. He's clearly smooth with my mother. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get that trait, did you?
No, I am absolutely awkward with the ladies. I didn't learn. I was completely awkward. I was a nerd. I was a geek, like I told you. I came out of the womb speaking the King's English. I didn't even know how to communicate. When I talk slang today, you know what my wife says? You know what Roseanne says? She goes, please stop doing that. It's like the biggest geek ever. You know what? I'll tell you this. This is my favorite story. When Caleb was 16, he was in Fort Lee High School. And we went there to go pick him up. And I get out of the car, and I'm walking up, and he's talking to a couple of friends that he had made in the school because it was his first year. And he's hanging out with them. He's joined the football team. So naturally, he's blending in. And I walk up to him, and I do the meanest thing ever. And I go, yo, what up, son? Yo, what's up, son? And when I approach them, and I go, I can call him that because he's my son. And all I could see is the boy putting his head in his hands. He's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Pardon me, I didn't mean to say it. He was just, oh, man, come on. But I'm like, I couldn't blame him, but I was, I was purposely being, awkward for the sake of it. So I started doing that all the time. Yo, what up, son? And then saying, I can call him that. It's my favorite thing to do.
Like, leave your dad jokes in the car, bro. That's what he was saying.
I know, exactly. But this is exactly why I did it. It's exactly why I did it. Hey, coming up in about 20 minutes, we've got Ben Wetmore. He's the board president of Project Veritas. We're going to talk to him about Elvira Saeed. She is the mother of Eileen Saeed, who took her own life last year. This, of course, going back to the conversation about Reverend Miller and the Metropolitan Community Church of Hartford. We'll get some more details on what they're doing in trying to get that story in the news. And they've had no luck as well. And we'll talk to Ben about the level they've had to go to get anyone to even listen to the story. Also in the news, we have to talk about a Mexican national. We found another one in Connecticut. My favorite story. It's like every week I've got 2 stories. We've got a Mexican national. That's the word they're calling him now. A Mexican national instead of calling him an illegal. Mexican national who's now getting 5 years for fentanyl distribution in Connecticut. Can't wait to talk about that because, they're not doing anything wrong, Justin Elliker. They're just living their lives. They're just living their lives, being good people, staying out of trouble. Oh, this one, actually, since we got traffic and weather coming up, I need to share this story. A New York City driving school has rigged driver's licenses for illegal immigrants, even if they don't drive or they couldn't drive. A Big Apple driving school paid off DMV examiners to fraudulently fast-track driver's licenses for illegal immigrants, even if they had no clue how to drive, according to Staten Island prosecutors. The T&E driving school in Queens took cash from Chinese immigrants, many of whom didn't even speak English, and paid off a crew of Department of Motor Vehicle employees on Staten Island to illegally obtain driver's licenses. So this spanned through the boroughs. The crackdown, dubbed Operation Road Test, took down the ring in a joint investigation with state investigators and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security prosecutors said. Our investigation found that T&E driving school blatantly flouted the laws and procedures that are necessary to ensure the public safety on the road. They said that these were primarily, or at least all the individuals that they were giving them to, were drivers who were from the Chinese community. In fact, all of the people who were getting these driver's licenses were from the community, but many of them did not go through the proper requirements to learn how to drive. So they didn't do road tests. They didn't do written tests. So if you're driving through New York and you're noticing a whole bunch of accidents out there, now you know why. Because there may be a crap load of people out there driving who have no idea how to do so with a driver's license.
Good luck, everybody else.
So good luck, everybody. Yeah, be careful out there. Don't get in any trouble. They said they gave examiners about 15. What would examiner can't be about? What is he saying? I'm sorry. The number of tests given by an individual examiner can be about 1,500 a year. So we don't know exactly how many people they gave these driver's licenses to. So I'm just saying, be careful out there. If you're asking yourself, where'd you get your license from? Who knows? Who knows? But at least technically, maybe they can track them all down. I mean, if that's the case. They were all given driver's licenses. I'm sure that's all a part of the public record. I just didn't like the fact that it sort of contributed to the stereotype. That's all I didn't like. Because this is a Chinese group that were giving the illegal driver's licenses to Chinese illegal immigrants and then allowing them to drive all through the city. And a lot of people are sitting up there going, oh, no, don't. I'm warning you. Don't. Don't think it. Don't say it. Leave that to me.
Good luck, everybody else.
You remember that from Family Guy? I do. Good luck, everybody else. Just put them on the road. Nobody even cares anymore. Let them drive. Why not? Can't read the road signs. Don't know when to make a proper right turn or a left turn. Just out there winging it. And the individuals who took the bribe at the DMV, it takes all kinds. It's so sad. This bothers me so much that people who are willing, I get it. If you don't make enough money at your job, do something else. But please, I don't even understand. It's just the level of which people are willing to risk their own livelihood. I don't know. It astonishes me. Anyway, we're coming back in a little bit. We'll get our first check of the weather and traffic. We'll take your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. What's the word on the score? Do we have that yet? I guess John Silver's been keeping a lookout on that score. Let me see if I can see it now. Here it is. Red Sox score.
Bottom ninth.
Yeah, that's right. Bottom of the ninth. Red Sox coming back. Oh, no, is that over? That looks like it's over, buddy. Yeah, that's a wrap. If this is today's game, that looks like that's over. Final score, 5-3 Red Sox. They're still under 500? What in the hell's going on? That's insanity. 43-44 is their record. The Cincinnati Reds are above 500. This is abysmal. Yeah, I think it's over. I think the game has been called. Yeah, that's it. But remember, they did start. Like, they suspended the game. I think they started in the third inning. So, Anyway, we'll get our first check of weather and traffic, and we'll check on whether or not this is the game's over, and then we'll get back to regular radio. Jason Caterina's got weather. Mark Christopher's at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, this traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. Southbound 91, look for delays 33, down to 32 A and B, and another bump on 19 down to 17 in Meriden. On the northbound side of 91, a little slow, 25, 26 in Wethersfield for the Putnam Bridge. After that, good ride up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing East Hartford, approaching the Boakdale Bridge at 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slowing 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay east of the river. If you're heading into Middletown, 9 northbound delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound sluggish 34 up to 36 in New Britain. If you're traveling on the westbound side of I-84 in Southbury, we have some emergency road work, and that is in the right lane westbound between 16 and exit 15. So you want to stay left there. Delays are back to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound going into Waterbury, slowing by 18. Again, a little slow by the 691 interchange in Cheshire. If you're heading northbound on the Parkway, delays approaching 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. South 95 New Haven's tight 46, down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic got you down. Turn that frown upside down at Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. They offer fast, efficient dental implant procedures, complete in a
Cars for Kids, K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
You've got to try the new burgers at the Nines. Bigger, bolder, and beefier. Our half-pound, 100% American Angus beef is sure to please. Try the new bourbon onion burger and get more ang for your buck. You gotta love the Nines.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
We're back at Fenway Park. It is clearing out. Ground crew getting the field ready for the regularly scheduled game, which will start at 7:10. They'll empty out the ballpark and then bring the folks in who have the tickets for the regularly scheduled night game. Will the decision to use Brian Bayo, who was supposed to start tonight, in the resumption of play here today, paid off big time for Al.
You've been listening to Red Sox Baseball on WTIC News Talk 1080. We now join our regularly scheduled program.
Fatality rate in the black communities continue to rise.
Dr. Andre Townsend says he's ready to take on the fiscal challenges of running the Hartford public school system. The Board of Education announced his hiring Tuesday night. Board Vice Chair Francois Daristel Ledger thinks he's up to the challenge.
He's excited. He is going to take a look at what needs to be done before, and he's going to do a great assessment. But he's not going to just jump and make changes. He's here to listen. He's here to learn, and then he's going to make the changes that need to be made.
Townsend is finishing his third year as superintendent in Culver City, Maryland, where the district's state ranking improved. According to his bio, in a message to the school community, the president of Calvert County Schools says it's unfortunate that the news of Townsend's departure was not shared directly with staff and stakeholders prior to its public release. Sean Diddy Combs is awaiting his fate after a split verdict at his trial in Manhattan. Here's Michael Wallace.
The jury found the rapper not guilty of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking, but did convict him of 2 lesser prostitution counts. CBS's Christina Kaufman was in the courtroom.
He kept making prayer hands and mouthing thank you to the jury members.
Doug Wigner is the attorney for Cassie Ventura, who accused Combs of forcing her to take part in drug-fueled sex parties.
We're hopeful that ultimately he receives a substantial sentence for what he's done.
Legal analyst Lori Levinson on what comes next.
He now has a shot of bail pending his sentencing. His sentencing is unlikely to be the maximum of 10 years on each count. And now he'll have to go about trying to figure out how he'll repair his position or reputation in society.
Brian Koberger pled guilty to the murder of 4 University of Idaho students today.
We learned a lot more from the prosecution about the case, some things that we hadn't heard before, that he had bought a knife like the one that was used in the murders and the same sheath that they found on Amazon in the months before the murders. They also mentioned that he had been spotted, or his cell phone had been located at towers in the area months before the murders occurred, suggesting that he had really planned this out for a long time.
And a person with knowledge of the details says the New York Knicks have offered their coaching job to Mike Brown and are working to finalize a deal with the 2-time NBA Coach of the Year. Brown would replace Tom Thibodeau, who was canned last month despite leading the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in a quarter century. He had his second interview, Brown did, with the Knicks on Tuesday before the job was offered. Wall Street, the Dow down 10 points, the NASDAQ up 190, S&P up 29. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Get a head start to
1 minute.
TIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
HartfordLatinoFest.com is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Saturday, July 12th from noon until 7 at Duncan Park, downtown Hartford. This family event is free, and you'll enjoy live Latin bands, local groups, Latin food, drinks, and much more. For more information, call Luna at 860-983-5629 or go to HartfordLatinoFest.com.
All right, you want to switch your phones over?
By Los Chivos, the Hartford Yard Goats, attorney Michael Chambers Jr., Hartford's Town and Clerk's Office, Liberty Bank, Kia of East Hartford, Connecticut, Greater Hartford Regional School Choice Office, and WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the Radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, of course, on News Talk 1080, and I forgot to do that again. Of course I did it. Anyway, when we come back from the from traffic and weather, we're going to have Ben Wetmore from Project Veritas on. He'll be joining us to talk about, as I said, Elvira Saeed. She is the mother of the young lady who took her own life last year. And we'll talk to him about his efforts, or Project Veritas efforts so far, to bring attention to what happened at the Metropolitan Community Church of Hartford. We'll get some details on that and how far they've gotten with getting attention to Eileen's story. So that's coming up as well. Also, some other news. Chris Murphy is all but having a conniption fit about the passage of the big, beautiful bill. We'll play that audio. And something that I said a long time ago that I was very evident of, and that was Chris Murphy appeared to be very confident that if the passing of the big, beautiful bill would have happened, Republicans are going to get shellacked. So what's the outrage for? We'll play all of that when we get back. And something he so-called predicted about Lisa Murkowski, oh boy, did that come back to bite him. I can't wait to play all of that. So that's going to come up in about, I'm going to say another half an hour. We'll talk about that. But as I said, we've got Ben Wetmore, Project Veritas, board president of Project Veritas. We'll be joining him in a bit to talk about what's going on with their efforts and if there's any other new investigations that might be coming up that they can tease. I know they always can't say because, they have to keep that stuff under wraps. We've been following, or at least myself, when I say we, I've been following Project Veritas since the early days during the Obama administration, and they have brought back this investigative and undercover journalism back in a way that I can only appreciate. I loved it back in the days when the regular news used to do it, and it's great to see it alive and well through these organizations. So we'll talk to him in a bit. So stand by. More news, more views than you can shake a stick at. Jason Caterina's got weather, and Mark Christopher, he's getting you home in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of I-91, delays 33 down to 32 A and B. And then we're looking good down into Cromwell after that. Northbound side 91 is okay. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. If you're westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Boakey Bridge out to 47 rather. Sigourney Street 84 eastbound slows about a half a mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay. 2 eastbound moving well. Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park up toward the Aragorn Bridge. Northbound on the Parkway look for delays 67 up to 68 N and E in Meriden. If you're traveling southbound 91 in Meriden, some slow traffic 19 down to 17 for the Parkway. Now, if you're on the westbound side of 84 heading into Meriden, I should say into Waterbury, you've got delays 25A to 25. Again, delays from exit 18 in Waterbury down to between 16 and 15. In Southbury, we have emergency road work in the right lane there between 16 and 15. So there's your delay. Stay left. If you are heading down in toward New Haven right now, southbound 95 a little tight, 46 down to 44. And on the northbound side of the Parkway, you're going to see slow traffic approaching 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All right, a quieter day for us today. Clear and humid tonight. The low down to 64, then mostly cloudy. Very warm as we head into our Thursday. A gusty thunderstorm in the afternoon. It could produce some localized damaging wind gusts during the afternoon and evening. A high 89 during the day, mainly clear other than the storms, the possible storms Thursday evening. Mainly clear through the overnight, the low down to 63. Beautiful day for 4th of July, Independence Day, less humid, plenty of sunshine, the high of 84. Filtered sunshine Saturday, so sun through high clouds. Air quality is going to be poor for sensitive groups, the high 86. Sunday, a hot day to round out the weekend, and I mean hot, clouds and sun, the high jumping up to 95 on Sunday. Right now, 82 Waterbury and Danbury, 81 Bridgeport, 84 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Keep WTIC News Talk 1080 with you all summer long for the information you need. Weather forecasts from Bob Cox help you plan your summertime activities. Taking a trip? Mark Christopher's traffic reports will get you there without the hassle. Plus, up-to-the-minute news reports twice an hour. No matter where you go, listen on the Odyssey app and stay informed with what's going on back in CT. Because when you're on vacation, we're not. WTIC News Talk 1080.
Making sense of it all and having fun. That's how we would sum up our show. Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. It's what happens when you take a Gen Xer, a millennial, and a baby boomer and give them a radio show.
We go through the news the same way you and your friends would, taking the serious stuff seriously while also laughing at the absurd.
Each one of us brings a unique perspective to the news of the day, closing the generation gap in a way no other talk show can. Hear Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins weeknights 6 until 9 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, baseball fans. Tickets to a Boston Red Sox game with the Red Sox Player of the Game contest. Just listen when we announce the player of the game during the 7th inning stretch. That would be during the break in the middle of the 7th inning, during every game broadcast on WTIC. Then tune into Brian and Company the following morning at 8:10. Know the player of the game, be the correct caller, and you'll win a pair of tickets to an upcoming game in Boston. It's the Red Sox Player of the Game contest, only on WTIC News Talk 1080. Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, hosted by Dr. Anthony Alessi, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts in their fields about the latest medical findings and call in with your medical question. Healthy Rounds is dedicated to providing accurate and timely health information and is sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Ratchford Eye Center, St. Francis Hospital, Con Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC, News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com. President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080, WTIC.
I got a little bit of hate mail because I called Groot a tree. That's okay. Hate all you want. He's a tree. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080, WTIC. And as promised, we have Ben Wetmore, who is the board president of Project Veritas, on the line. Thank you for being here, sir. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure and honor to be here.
Thank you, sir. And so let's get into this. You, Project Veritas as a whole, have been doing investigations. In fact, you guys have another investigation that you just, you got some new details on. I want to get into that as well when we get to the latter part of this interview, because that's a big story. Because what you guys are doing in most cases is getting what I can only describe as an immediate response from people who are in places of power when you guys show corruption or misdeeds. And this particular case with Elvira Saeed and her daughter, the late Eileen, you have been asking news networks, look, this story is relevant because according to the mother, and this accusation anywhere else in the world would have been acted upon by the media, is suggesting that the actions of these individuals led to the suicide of their child. And we have evidence that what they're doing in many cases is illegal. They're doing it without the consent of parents, to where it's leaving children in danger. Tell me a little bit, Ben, about your efforts and, if any, the response from the news media you've reached out to.
Well, I mean, I think you know what the response has been, which is nothing, right? I mean, they don't want to cover the story, even though, as you point out, I mean, the story is really powerful and it speaks to many issues going on in our society today, right? It goes to the parent-child relationship. It goes to the corruption of our institutions. It goes to these institutions that we took for granted, 30 years ago that have become. They're not safe spaces anymore. Right? You can't send your kids and not pay attention to what's going on. I mean, there's a Muslim-Christian dynamic at work here too, where the mother here, Elvira, is a Muslim, and her biological daughter, gets caught up with this supposedly Christian church that transes her into something else, and she ultimately commits suicide. So, I mean, there's multiple angles that the local media and the state media and, frankly, regional and national media could cover the story. And as you suggest, they're not touching it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, and it's interesting you brought up the Muslim aspect to, of course, Elvira Saeed, which in this case is an immigrant to this country, which, of course, has been the bellwether of every news outlet, with an essence of how immigrants are being mistreated by the system of America. You also have the institution of a church. You have the of course, and I almost feel like, and you tell me if you feel this way as well. I've always said this. You guys, you're not in the business of doing this, but as a talk show host, I've always expressed that there's what I call the totem pole of victimhood within the news media. And if I look at you know what I mean? And I feel like Elvira Saeed doesn't meet the standard of high on the totem pole, because at the hierarchy today, and it's an ever-changing totem pole, if you will, but Reverend Miller, who used to be a woman, is now a man, a part of the transgender community, a part of the Christian community that, of course, is, turning the apple cart over in the Christian faith with this, is on the higher part of the totem pole. And Elvira Saeed, who would normally have been, years after the invention of the term Islamophobia, would have been on the top tier. So now she's pushed all the way down, where we have to protect the Reverend Miller, and we don't get any justice for Elvira Saeed because she's not important enough or not high enough on that totem pole.
I think you're absolutely right, and I like how you put it, this kind of totem pole of victimhood. And I think the key to understanding the political left, as you point out, is really understanding, who's at what level on that totem pole, right? And this story, as you suggest, kind of conflicts with, different layers and different levels of that totem pole. And again, that should make it a good story.
Right.
That should make it kind of more compelling that, you have this tension between two groups that are kind of traditionally seen on the left. But I think the silence from a lot of the other media outlets really suggests that, if it hurts the political left, they don't want to touch it. And that shouldn't be how we're deciding what's newsworthy.
Yeah, I'll even go so far as to say this, Ben. By the way, you're just joining us. We're on the phone with Ben Wetmore, the board president of Project Veritas. On the contrast of this, on the same issue, imagine this, and I don't know if you're familiar with this story. There's a town in Michigan. It's not Dearborn, but it's another town close by that recently the entire board, right, the community board, or I guess how would you call it? I guess the town board, right? Everyone elected on the board is male and all Muslim. And how they got elected was because the town was very, pro-LGBTQ. And because the LGBT community is very pro-Islam and pro-Palestine and all that other stuff, they worked diligently to make sure that this board reflected the community. So the gay community got these guys elected. And when they elected the last Muslim on the board, the first order of business by the Muslim board was to remove the pride flag on all state buildings, like on all community buildings. And the gay community goes, wait a minute, you betrayed us. Which, again, you know what I mean? So, and there's this news report about that, which, by the way, did not get widely reported, which again shows you that they're not even willing to touch this story, because I guess what would only put focus on is what has to be the circular firing squad of the left, because it would show them at odds with each other.
That's exactly right. We actually did a release last year. Or there's a town in Michigan. I don't know if this is the one you're talking about, Hamtramck, Michigan, which is right
that's
outside
it. That's
Detroit.
the one. That's the one.
Well, the other part of that story is that the Muslims are using voter fraud in order to get elected.
Yes, right. That's right.
And we got the gay liberals to complain about this and explain how the voter fraud happened, and said, look, I mean, we're okay with the voter fraud as long as we win.
Right.
But like when these other Democrats are winning, when these and they're anti-LGBT, we can't be having that.
Yes.
And so there's so much hypocrisy in our nation these days, and there's so many stories that are ripe for people like you. And I know you're doing great work in Connecticut, and I mean you're at the forefront of this. But I mean all over the country, there's all these great stories, and I feel like the quality of our journalism in America is at an all-time low.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, it goes without question. I don't think it's something that you can speculate. It's without a doubt. Talk to me a little bit about, so I know that you guys are you still going back and forth and having more and more conversations? I know you've been sort of reposting a lot of, Elvira is out there on, was it True Teller 2024? She is diligent. Every day she's posting something new about new details with Eileen. What are some of the updates with regards to her story and Project Veritas?
We have a few leads that we do want to pursue, and I do hope that we can specifically continue with Elvira's story, because it's so horrible. The whole situation's horrendous. What she's been through, and having to lose a child like this when she's always going to have to wonder if there's something else that she could have done. When they filed the false complaint against her,
right?
That was obviously a huge red flag. But you can understand in the moment, maybe she thought, well, this is not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we have a bunch of leads, and I think there are other parents who have gone through very similar stories like this.
Really?
That we're also trying to get comfortable with coming forward and going on camera. Because I don't think this is just happening to Elvira. I think this is sadly a disease that's spreading around the country, and we want to wake people up, because not only parents for their kids, but also grandparents and their communities, and people involved with the schools. Like, we need to be able to spot what's going on here and these patterns, because it's just going to keep repeating unless we stop it.
I know that you guys didn't focus on this, but I do want to ask you about it, and I'm sure you're aware of it. And I don't know if you could do, or you're interested in any investigation in it, but I have a small degree of interest in investigating this. I want to read something to you, because it appears that Elvira's been trying to get this story out since March of this year, until you guys got a hold of it. She wrote an op-ed that was published in the Daily Wire's website, Ben Shapiro's outlet. And have you gotten a chance to read it?
No, I have not.
Okay, I want to read this to you, because Elvira found something interesting in this story that has blown my mind, and it's an element I think you guys should consider. So after it took 4 days until anyone found her daughter. I know you know that part. It took 4
Yeah,
days. Her
horrible.
daughter was very active in the school. She was part of clubs. She was part of the newspaper at her college and Rider University in New Jersey. She was very active. Right. And after they found her 4 days later, they found out I did find out what she overdosed on. But the police came and did an investigation and left. And they found no reason for her death. But weeks later, Ryder released what they call a suicide note. Are you aware of that?
I had heard some brief detail about this, but please keep going.
Okay. This is what the note read. It says, I just want to make one thing clear. I didn't do this because I am on testosterone. I don't want my death to be used as a reason to be transphobic. I did this because of all the trauma my mom caused me. I've turned into a person I completely dislike, and no one believes I can get better. Not even the person I love most. I am sorry. I've lost faith. Raven. He, him, his. Elvira put that in her own op-ed. That's in essence saying that her daughter blames her. But Elvira makes a note that says the police searched her room and found nothing. Ryder found this note.
Right.
Which I believe in my heart of hearts, Ryder had every intention of either writing this note or making her mom the fall guy.
Well, I mean, the politics is so crazy. You know, is it crazy to think that the network around her would have planted that note too?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, but honestly, even taking it at face value, you know, what some degree of what's going on here is mental illness, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it's hard to blame people for suffering from mental illness, but it's also, especially when kids are involved, it's like, are we helping to solve these mental problems, or are we making them worse?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, sadly, from what I've seen, it's definitely the latter. You know, the deliberate walling off of Elvira from her daughter's life, and the maliciousness that they went after her with.
Indeed.
You know, I hope people see that in the story, because that's not only, I think, the scariest part of all of it, and the, you know, horrible, but it's also, I think, what's applicable to everyone else too, right? I mean, this could happen to you, right?
Yeah.
And if you see these things happening in your relationships, you know, you need to really worry, you know, that it could end up, you know, the same way Elvira's story ends up.
Yeah, and you know, it's so true. And I think the real cautionary part of this story is that no matter where you look in Eileen's life, people were responding in ways that don't make any sense after meeting her once. And in their reactions, it was always against her mother. I mean, you find out that the girl traveled, according to Elvira, she says that she traveled to Yukon to go get testosterone treatment. She walked 11 hours. That didn't raise any red flags with Yukon. Got her on testosterone. You know, Reverend Miller meets with her one time, and he's immediately talking about transitioning. So there were all of these people who were just so flippant about her transitioning after meeting her once and not taking anything into account as far as her mental health was concerned, just getting her somewhat in the chair or on the table to experiment with this girl.
Well, and that's exactly right. And that was part of our investigation, was putting an 11-year-old in front of them and seeing what they would do.
Yep.
And I mean, they immediately launched into, you know, well, you think you're a boy, and here's how to get chest binders, right? To basically misfigure, you know, a woman's breast.
Yeah.
It's really, you know, what's it going to take, I think, for people to get angry and for our elected officials to protect our children? I mean, like, that's who they're going after, you know, and I mean, this story is very well documented. And like I say, I think there are many other stories like this. And I know you have done a lot of reporting on this, And I know Elvira deserves a lot of credit for having the strength to talk about what she went through. But I think there are a lot of other people who don't have that strength who are out there.
Yeah, indeed. Ben, stay on the line with me real quick. I've got to go to weather and traffic and bottom of the hour news. I'm going to bring you back. I want to talk about the other investigation you just posted about that's getting reaction from folks in Washington. All right, we'll be back. Ben Wetmore of Project Veritas is with us. We'll get some weather and traffic with Jason Catarinas and Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Yeah, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon. This traffic report being brought to you by Amplify CT. If you're heading into Hartford, Southland 91 delays 33 down to 32. Again, down by exit 28, a little slow there. Once you get into Meriden, you're tight again, 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Northbound 91's a little slow in Hartford, approaching, getting by exit 33 Jennings Road. Westbound 84 slowing in East Hartford, approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound delays 46 into the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84 okay east of the river. 2 westbounds tight 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound slows Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge again from 34 in New Britain up to exit 36. Eastbound 84 in Waterbury, a little tight by 23. Again, down by the 691 interchange in Cheshire. Westbound 84 is sluggish, 26 in Cheshire up to exit 23. And then we've got emergency road work 84 westbound in Southbury. That's between 16 and 15. The right lane's blocked there. Delays are back to 17 behind that. Now, if you're heading down in toward New Haven, South 95 slowing 46 to 43. Northbound Parkway a little slow by 59. Look out for an accident 95 southbound now in Guilford. That accident is between exit 59 and 58. Right lane is shut down there. Looks like delays back to 62 behind that. This summer, remember that getting outside to play reduces stress, boost mood, and sharpen focus. Encourage your kids to press pause and go play to take care of their mind and body. It works. Visit amplifyct.org for more ideas to amplify your mental health. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, quite warm and humid with a mix of clouds and sun, a high of 87. Clear and humid tonight, the low only 64. Then for Thursday, mostly cloudy, quite warm with a gusty thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening that could produce some localized damaging wind gusts, the high of 89. For Friday, the 4th of July, a beautiful day. It'll be less humid with plenty of sunshine and the high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
84 degrees at 4:30. I'm John Silva. The holiday getaway is beginning. Those making their way to 4th of July destinations for the long weekend by road or air are advised to leave early and pack their patience. Over 800,000 in Connecticut will be traveling 50 miles or more, according to AAA. Sean Diddy Combs beat the rap on the most serious charge at his sex trafficking trial in Manhattan. He was convicted on 2 prostitution counts. A hearing set for about a half an hour to see if he'll be granted bail until sentencing. Conservative lawmakers met with President Trump at the White House to talk about the budget bill. Some have threatened to vote no, saying the bill doesn't contain enough in the way of cuts. Manchester man under arrest on manslaughter charges in connection with a motorcycle crash from last year. State police say 33-year-old Randy Carrera was involved in the crash last August 31st on I-91 South near exit 35A in Windsor. They say Carrera was operating recklessly and speeding when he crashed, killing a female passenger and himself suffering serious injuries. Ukraine moving forward with plans for joint weapons production with allies, while the U.S. halts some arms shipments it had promised to help Kyiv fend off Russia's invasion. And those who frequent Pleasure Beach in Bridgeport will have to find someplace else to go. The city has closed the beach for the rest of the summer due to a tick infestation. Wall Street, Dow finished down 10 points today. NASDAQ picked up 190. The S&P was up 29. Red Sox beat Cincinnati 5-3, the resumption of the suspended game from yesterday due to the rain. The nightcap tonight, 6:10 the pregame here on TIC. Yanks will try to right the ship again against Toronto. Milwaukee beat the Mets first of 2, 7-2. And they'll play the nightcap there at Citi Field at 7:10. Eastern League, Yard Goats were rained out yesterday as well, so they're playing a doubleheader at Duncan. First pitch 5 p.m. on the Odyssey app. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Slow? Clogged? Backed up? Don't worry. ALO Home Services has you covered. For only $93, our technician will clear any drain in your home. And if it can't be cleared, it's free. Call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P102776688, S104062441, S3308699, SM3004646, E1185643.
Attention, small business owners. Do you need funding for your business? At lendseek.com, we provide revenue-based working capital programs from $20,000 to $1 million. So whether it's funding for inventory, equipment, expansion, payroll, or other needs, seek no more. All it takes is just one simple application to access over 100 funding products that are powered through our breakthrough AI-enabled lending platform to get you the best options in today's marketplace. If you've been in business for at least 1 year, with monthly revenue of at least $50,000, you could receive the business funding you need when it matters most, regardless of your personal credit score. Funds in your account in just 24 hours with no collateral, no prepayment penalties, and no restrictions on how you use the funds. There's no obligation and zero out-of-pocket costs. So apply for the business funding you need today at lendseek.com.
Yeah, I saw the baby oil thing earlier. People are savages.
Oh, you saw it earlier?
I saw
How we
somebody
would
sent
sum
it
up our
to
show.
me
Markley, Van
earlier.
Camp, and
I'm like,
Robbins.
these
What
people are
happens?
savages, dude.
Boomer and give him a radio show.
We go through the news the same way you and your friends would, taking the serious stuff seriously while also laughing at the absurd.
Each one of us brings
If
a unique
I'm-
perspective to the
if
news of
I'm
the day,
Diddy,
closing the generation gap in a
if
way
he gets
no
out
other
at 5
talk show
o'clock
can.
today-
Hear Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins weeknight 6 until 9
And
on WTIC.
he waits until sentencing.
NewsTalk
I
1080.
put the track out baby oil tomorrow.
Would you?
Tomorrow? Are you kidding me? Like if I know I'm getting sentenced, I put that song out tomorrow.
Expired, you'll have to cover it
Just to make fun. Just to, you know what I'm saying?
An Endurance
you
Auto
made
Protection Plan.
the feds
no matter what the
look
mileage, if your
horrible
car's
here,
under
dude.
20 years old, Endurance
Yeah, they did a whole lot for
Dude,
nothing.
For nothing. They picked up. How do you get videotapes? You went through computers and everything, and you came up with nothing.
Directly with no middleman.
5 weeks of an investigation, you came up with bubkits. Like I was waiting for
lockout services and a 30-day
like
money-back
international,
guarantee.
like
Act
you
now
know,
and get our elite
we're
benefits,
gonna find
including
tapes
complete
of
tire care and key
particular
fob replacement.
politicians
a
and all
$2,000
that.
value.
Nothing.
Yeah, he probably have all that in a different spot.
So call now for your free quote. Call 800
I thought that there was just going to be so much.
800 253
Like every person who came up was like nobody.
253 6203.
Like the only, like you're the most famous person was Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
On WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sorry, if you listen at ReeseOnTheRadio.com, you can hear all the dialogue that happens in the background, and you won't miss a beat at all. We've still got Ben Wetmore, Project Veritas, on the line. I want to talk to him real quick. Talk to me briefly, if you can, in the next 2 minutes, if you can. You guys have an investigation that has been incredibly fruitful, and it is about the gold bars investigation, where you guys caught somebody working inside Washington that was just, after USID was being shut down by Doge, that this department was just throwing money, like, you know, gold bars, as they described it, out the window before anyone could catch them. Give us a brief synopsis of what was going on and where we are.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because just yesterday the New York Times ran a hit piece on it, and the Times couldn't decide if we had made it up or if it was just a nothing burger. But of course, it was a really big deal. Your timing's a little bit off. It was actually the last month of the Biden administration.
Right. That's
in December.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it was a fellow at the EPA who was involved with grant making, and he said we were giving out over $20 billion. And he described it like being on the Titanic throwing gold bars off just to get the money out of Washington, out of the hands of the Trump administration.
Yeah.
And, you know, we put out what he said, you know, and we were honest with it. We gave him a chance to quote and gave him an opportunity to have input. He declined. And we put out the story, and it blew up big. You know, the timing was great. Elon Musk retweeted it. the incoming EPA, Commissioner Lee Zeldin, actually mentioned it in his
remarks,
confirmation hearing.
Yeah,
right. And they went after the money, and they found the money, and and it's currently being litigated. The groups that receive the money are angry that the EPA clawed it back. And there's a great story to be had there too. But yeah, it's probably our most in the 20 years of Project Veritas. It's our most successful story to date because we can directly say $20 million of fraud was stopped by the release of that video.
Well, Ben, I congratulate you guys. Your investigative work has been legend. It always remains that, and you are back anytime. I've got your info, so give a holler at me if you need, to let my audience know what you got going on. And, of course, I'll text you time and time. Again, I promise I won't bug you. I won't blow you up, but I'll holler at you. Okay?
Well, I love what you're doing, and thanks so much for having me on.
You got it. Ben Wetmore, board president of Project Veritas, here on Reese on the Radio. And now let's get to another check of weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you. If you're heading toward Hartford, southbound side of 91, slowing 33 down to 32 A&B, and again down by exit 28. And again, some sluggish traffic, Meriden, 19 down to 17. Northbound 91, just a little slow as you move up on 33 Jennings Road in Hartford. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound tight, 46 into the tunnel. 2 westbound's a little slow as you merge to the 84 west. Also, 84 eastbound east of the river, a little tight as you approach the 384 interchange. 9 north and southbound running slow, approaching the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 northbound, sluggish traffic, 34. New Britain up to 36. 84 westbound, you're going to see some slow traffic now from 26 in Cheshire up to exit 23. Again from 17, Middlebury-Southbury line out to between exit 16 and 15 in Southbury. Emergency road work in the right lane. Stay left there. 84 eastbound into Waterbury, slowing 17 to 18. A little tight again up by 23. South 95 is tight 46 to 44 in New Haven. And if you are traveling on the southbound side of 95, look for some slow traffic as you move into the Brantford exits from an earlier accident on 95 South between 59 and 58. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear and humid tonight, the low down to 64. Mostly cloudy, very warm for us on Thursday. A gusty thunderstorm in the afternoon that could produce localized damaging wind gusts into the early evening as well. The high of 89, the low of 63 Thursday night. A beautiful Friday for 4th of July, less humid, lots of sun, the high of 84. Saturday, filtered sunshine, the high of 86. Right now, it's 82 in Meriden, 82 in Mansfield, and 84 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
HartfordLatinoFest.com is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Saturday, July 12th from noon until 7 at Duncan Park, downtown Hartford. This family event is free, and you'll enjoy live Latin bands, local groups, Latin food, drinks, and much more. For more information, call Luna at 860-983-5629 or go to HartfordLatinoFest.com. Latino Fest is proudly supported by Los Chivos, the Hartford Yard Goats, Attorney Michael Chambers Jr., Hartford's Town and Clerk's Office, Liberty Bank, Kia of East Hartford, Connecticut, Greater Hartford Regional School Choice Office, and WTIC News Talk 1080.
Need good tech advice?
Computer error.
Tune into the Gold.com award-winning Computer Talk with Tab. Saturday mornings 9 to 11 on WTIC News Talk 1080. God, I love technology. Eric Semmel and Dennis Halnan of Tab Computer Systems will keep you updated with tech news you can use and answer your technology questions live on the air. Miss a program? Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in from anywhere via the Odyssey app. Computer Talk with Tab. Saturday mornings on WTIC News Talk 1080. Hey, baseball fans, you can win tickets to a Boston Red Sox game with the Red Sox Player of the Game contest. Just listen when we announce the player of the game during the 7th inning stretch. That would be during the break in the middle of the 7th inning, during every game broadcast on WTIC. Then tune into Brian and Company the following morning at 8:10. Know the player of correct caller, and you'll win a pair of tickets to an upcoming game in Boston. It's the Red Sox Player of the Game contest, only on WTIC News Talk 1080. The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Got to get into this story with Governor Ned Lamont talking about getting rid of oil-based furnaces in Connecticut. As if this guy doesn't get it when it comes in this environmental thing. This is not your space, dude. This is not your space. Just kind of chill with all that. By the way, I want to give a shout out, if I can. If you haven't checked this show out, I'm telling you, you must. And they don't know me, I don't know them. But I have listened to their show, and they air right after me. They're syndicated, and it's rarely, I mean, with the exception of Rush Limbaugh, I usually don't talk about syndicated programs. But I have heard this one. It's Markley, Van Camp, and Rollins. These guys are right after me. And let me tell you, and I'm not kidding you. I know a lot of you folks are already home and you're not listening to the radio or anything like that. But if you get a chance, listen to a replay of their show, if it's available. It is their show. They don't take phone calls. That's one. But the other thing that they do is that they have this particular formula that I love, and it's theirs. They just talk about the news stories, and it's three guys, from 3 different generations talking about the news events of the day. But the stuff that they do or they talk about is all of the stories that you know. And the way that they present it, they're great presenters, as they say in England. They are great presenters of these news stories and the angles in which they grow. They also do this bit called The Most Important Story of the Day for them. And it's usually not like the most, it's not like a crazy dire, like crazy stuff. It's, in essence, whatever they thought was like the most important story to them individually. So they look up their own story. And it's always something good. I really love this show. Like I said, I rarely ever talk about other syndicated shows, but the first time I heard it, I couldn't stop listening. So it's Markley, Van Camp, and Rollins. They air immediately after mine. I was not told to promote this. It's just when I heard their ad was playing on, I said, yeah, I got to say something about these guys because I do love their show. And it's really, really good. And they're funny, and they talk about news. They respond to stuff that's going on, and it's worth your while. I can't say enough good things about them. So if I ever meet them, I'll tell them to their face. But again, like I said, I never met them, but I love the show. It's a good show. If you're interested in good talk radio, you will enjoy these guys. It's the Markley, Van Camp, and Rollins show. So check it out. Just want to give them a shout. When I found out they were on after they were joining WTIC, I was like, oh, man, people are going to love them. So, and you will. Let's get into this. By the way, if you still want to call, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. If you wish to opine about anything. I got to talk about Chris Murphy. You might remember back in May, late May, Chris Murphy was on Rachel Maddow's little sister show. Chris Hayes, you know it is. Anyway, he was on there, and they were having a discussion about the big, beautiful bill. And with the confidence of somebody who has a pair, Chris Murphy pretended that he was certain the big, beautiful bill had no chances of passing. And I want you to listen to his arrogance as he talks to Rachel Maddow's little sister about what was going to happen if it did pass and how much Republicans were going to suffer and Democrats were going to gain in it. But he makes a mention of one of the Republicans who definitely would not vote for it.
The Republican Party still does essentially operate like a cult, and that's not fundamentally different in the Senate than it is in the House.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you've got people like Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins who, are definitely going to have a hard time voting for these massive cuts. But
yeah, Lisa Murkowski's going to have a hard time voting for this. Chris Murphy said with confidence. He went on.
But after that, my read is that Donald Trump kind of can say jump, and everybody else in the Senate probably says how high. So the Republican Party is the Republican Party today, and right now he's got an enormous amount of power. Now, if he forces these senators, as he did in the House, to vote for $15 billion of Medicaid cuts and the corruption continues at the level that it is, I think they're going to get smoked in the midterms.
Now, he should be fine with that, right? If they make these stupid decisions, they're going to get smoked in the midterms. We get back in power, we'll impeach this son of a gun. Yeah. You know, we're going to take it to this guy. Yeah, guy, pass that stupid bill. I dare you. I dare you. But if you do, we're going to smoke you.
And Donald Trump doesn't need to stand for re-election 3 years from now, so what does he care? But I'm not necessarily sure that you're going to see the kind of independence that the Senate used to exercise, and Republicans used to exercise even just 3 or 4 years ago.
Lisa Murkowski, he said, she's going to have a hard time voting for this bill. That came back to bite.
Senator Paul said that that your vote was a bailout for Alaska at the expense of the rest of the country.
Oh my.
That's what Senator Paul said.
I advocated for my state's interests. I will continue to do that, and I will make no excuses for doing that. Do I like this bill? No, because I tried to take care of Alaska's interests. But I know that in many parts of the country, there are Americans that are not going to be advantaged by this bill. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that we moved through an artificial deadline, an artificial timeline to produce something, to meet a deadline, rather than to actually try to produce the best bill for the country.
But she voted for it anyway. Completely defying the critics. Lisa Murkowski, who, again, usually caucuses with the Democrats. We know it. We know it. We talk about it all the time. But Chris Murphy, he's mad. Oh, he's outraged. He's so outraged. But remember, right, if they pass this, we got him in the midterms. So what's all the outrage for?
I am shaking with fury over what just happened. That's the most monstrous piece of legislation I've ever voted on in my time in Congress. What do those Republican senators go back and tell their constituents that they did?
Tell them why you're mad.
In the final speech, the only thing they mentioned was the money for the border. But what more can they do? They've already militarized the border. They've already created an immigration police state. They didn't mention anything about the fact this bill kicks 17 million people off of their health care. There are going to be thousands of people who die in this country because they lose their access to health care. There'll be tens of thousands of other lives that are needlessly destroyed.
Yes, all of these lives that are going to be destroyed, the people who are going to die. Run on that. As the dead bodies line the floor, Chris Murphy, as the dead bodies line all the streets of America, take photographs of them and turn them into an ad. That's what you would normally do. What's all all that about? You said they were going to get smoked. Well, looks like they're going to get smoked, right? But look at the consternation on his face. People are going to die. People are going to die. 27 million people in the country are without health insurance. Does anybody know that? Does anybody know that? I bet you don't. Go look it up. 27 million Americans in the country are without health insurance. We should have 27 million people dead, shouldn't we? Shouldn't we? Huh? I'm still trying to understand, like, the Ivy League mad of Chris Murphy clutching his fist. I'm just so outraged. People are going to die.
This is the biggest cut in child nutrition in the history of the country, I think.
What child nutrition? All them fat-ass kids. What are you talking about? We got an obesity problem. Nutrition problem. Trust me, if these cuts are going to do what they're supposed to do, we're going to have a lot of skinny kids. And we should applaud that. Skinny, yes. Finally, we got a group of kids who, I don't know, don't sweat in considerably cool temperatures. I'm just saying.
They're going to be moms and dads who literally watch their children go hungry.
And will they go get a job? Like, who would sit there and watch their kid go hungry? Is that what they're going to do? Are they going to sit up there and just go, sorry, Timmy, Dad can't possibly do anything for you. You're going to have to starve another day. That's what Chris Murphy thinks is going on in households across the country, that people are sitting idly by. Hell, even dudes in the hood will stick somebody up and then go down to the Chinese restaurant and get themselves some fried rice and chicken wings. Come on, bro. Are you kidding me? No parent's going to sit by and watch their kid. You're such a clown.
Why? Because they wanted to pad the pockets of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago friends. That's the only reason that they are throwing people off of health care, that they are rendering little children hungry.
Yeah. At least we're throwing them off health care instead of, like you said during the Obama administration, throwing grandma off a cliff. And here's the thing, right? He talks about how Donald Trump has this cult, if you will, right? This cult of personality. What he fails to realize is that Donald Trump is the most popular Republican president ever. Even more popular than Reagan. Yeah.
How about compared to other presidents who were Republicans?
Yeah, it's history making. It's history making. What are we talking about here? So why don't we look back? We have all the presidents, Republican presidents, going back over the last 35, 36, 37 years. What are we talking about? GOP, who strongly approved 5 months in. Look at this. George H.W. Bush, Bush 41, 46%. Bush 43, 59. You see Trump, the first term, 53. But look at this. 63%. He beats all the other Republicans on the board here. And I was looking even back since Reagan. And get this, Donald Trump beats Ronald Reagan when it comes to the strongly approved 5 months. And of course, Reagan was coming off that high after that assassination attempt. So the bottom line is Donald Trump is making history with the Republican base. He is more beloved by this Republican base than any Republican base loved any GOP president 5 months in. It is history making.
Oh, they hate every bit of that. You see, guys like Chris Murphy call it a cult. It's not. It's not a cult. It's just something that Democrats can't pull off. He is the most consequential president in history. And here's the part that drives them even more crazy. And it must be said. It just has to be said. And if you're on the left, you have to admit this. He's far more consequential than your Messiah. You know who? Your Messiah, the chosen one, the man who came down from the heavens and graced our political realms with the skills of an orator, the brains of a moron, who used every facet of his blackness to divide a nation, making sure that they could never oppose him, or else he'd scream racism, talk about Americans' arrogance, and how they did not earn the title of being exceptional. Do you remember that? Yes, I do. Donald Trump is far superior. Far superior as a leader, far superior as a president than your Messiah. And boy, does that drive you mad. It drives you mad. Your Messiah had little children singing, Barack Hussein Obama, our leader, gives us tennis shoes and cologne. Oh, applaud him! Applaud him! Great leader! He stands above them all. Oh, I know it makes him mad. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't mean to upset you. I know that this is like right now you want to throw things. I mean, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. But you know it is. Okay? This guy he rattles your cage so much, Donald Trump does. It's amazing to watch. It is absolutely amazing to watch. You people will destroy yourselves, destroy your families. You won't even let your parents see your kids if they voted for him. Yeah. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, too. Stick around. More news, more views, and your phone calls when we return. Let's get Mark Christopher in here. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading in toward Hartford right now, looking at some delays on the southbound side of I-91 from 33 down to 32 A&B, another bump 27 down to 28. You'll slow again as you approach 19 in Meriden down to 17 for the Wilbercross Parkway. Northbound 91, that moves well. Cromwell through downtown. A little slow down as you move 32 up to 33 Jennings Road in Hartford. Now, the westbound side of 84 delays in East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound's a little slow, 48 Capitol Avenue to the Bulkley. And again, some slow traffic, 58 out to 59 and the 384 interchange on the East Hartford-Manchester line. 2 westbound slowing, 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 northbound Berlin slows 32 up to 36 in New Britain. If you're on the westbound side of 84 in Cheshire, delays from 26 up to exit 25 in Waterbury. And then again slowing from 17 down into Southbury between exits 16 and 15. We've got some emergency road work going on in the right lane there, so you want to stay to the left there. 84 eastbound in Danbury slowing 3 to 5, again from 8 in Danbury out to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway delays 61 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound slowing 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, it'll be quite warm and humid with a mix of clouds and sun, the high up to 87. Clear and humid tonight, the low only 64. Then as we head into Thursday, mostly cloudy, very warm, a gusty thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening that could produce some localized damaging wind gusts, the high up to 89. Friday for 4th of July, a beautiful day for Independence Day, less humid with lots of sun and the high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut. From breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. House GOP leaders are trying to move forward on the big budget bill. Speaker Mike Johnson.
We can't make everyone 100% happy. It's impossible. This is a deliberative body.
Now the president and vice president are getting involved.
Not only conversations happening at the White House, but also here on Capitol Hill with the speaker meeting with members of the House Freedom Caucus. Of course, and many of their members have expressed some concerns about the bill. In fact, the chair of the Freedom Caucus, Andy Harris, when he entered the chamber a little while ago, he reiterated to us that he was a no on this bill.
Now, in Hartford today, those who provide services for folks with substance abuse said Medicaid cuts in the president's budget will seriously impact their clients. Kim Nelson is Chief Program Officer with Wheeler Health in Plainville.
Over at Wheeler, approximately 70% of our population are funded by Medicaid. And this is just devastating and will be devastating for the communities that we all serve, not just Wheeler Health.
Sean Diddy Combs has been acquitted of the most serious charges against him, including racketeering. Correspondent Jerika Duncan is outside the Manhattan courthouse.
He kneeled down, he put his hands on the chair, and he prayed. When we saw his family come outside, they usually are quick to get in and get out, but today they took their time, they were smiling, they were thankful, obviously.
Legal analyst Jessica Levinson.
He could theoretically serve up to 20 years, 10 for each count. I don't think that's what we're going to see, in part because he's a first-time offender, in part because you rarely do get the maximum amount.
Hartford Board of Education members hope that Dr. Andre Townsend His record of school turnarounds in Michigan and Maryland mean great things for Hartford schools. They named Townsend as school superintendent. The board's vice chair is Francois Darrestel Ledger.
And what I really liked that he said was that he's not here to reinvent the wheel, but he's here to make the wheel roll. So he's not here to change Hartford. He's here to see what's needed and to get the work done so that Hartford can be better. Hartford Public Schools can be better.
Now, Townsend is leaving Calvert County, Maryland Public Schools after 3 years. The president of that system tells community members, quote, "It is unfortunate that this news was not shared directly with staff and stakeholders prior to its public release." And for many, the Independence Day travel period has begun. Tracy Noble at AAA Hartford on when they expect the busiest times to be on the road.
We're expecting Wednesday to be one of the heaviest travel days. So expect the roads to be crowded Wednesday, July 2nd, between noon and 9 p.m.
And the majority, over 87%, will travel to their holiday destinations by automobile. Wall Street, the Dow down 10 points. NASDAQ gained 190. S&P was up 29 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Men, the summer is days, warmer nights, and romance is in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated, because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life. And fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Northeast Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeast.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you, including our new office in Warwick, Rhode Island.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're going to get to your phone calls soon. And I want to thank everybody who has kind of figured this out, if you will, that the format of this show is usually the first 2 hours. We get through all the news, all the talking points, all of that other stuff. Maybe have a guest at 4 o'clock. And then after that, then we start getting into your phone calls. I appreciate you guys who sort of like figured it out without me having to say it. Because in the beginning, I've got so much material. I got stacks of stuff that I usually don't get into. And I hate leaving stuff on the cutting room floor. Because if I don't get to the news today, it's old tomorrow. If I may tell you the process, a little sort of behind the scenes bit, I will have a story that is really important to me, at least. It's relevant to me, and I think it's worth having a conversation about, or is this something I want to sort of bring focus to? And then something will happen. We'll get a breaking news story, or something will happen in Connecticut that clearly needs more attention than that particular story. But that story's still important. It's not that it isn't. It's just that something else pops up, and it's not something you control, because the news cycle and talk radio just doesn't work like that. You can want it to, but it doesn't. And so you'll get invested in that. It's a story that you need to focus on, and so the thing you wanted gets pushed aside. I will wake up the next morning with that story, hot to go, ready to go, first thing, even ready for an opening monologue. And I'll wake up in the morning and I'll go, nah, never mind. I'll just go, nah, not worth it now. That story's over. And I know that sounds like, well, Reese, well, what if it was? No, it's one of those things. It's like, Roland, is there a food that you can only prepare for the time it's supposed to be eaten, and you can't serve it as a leftover or any other time? Like, it has to be served at one time, and you can't serve it as a leftover. Is there any food like that? I don't know if there is. I'm not much of a cook. But have you ever had something that has to, like, once it's prepared, you have to eat it. After that, it's ruined, like if it's leftover?
Yeah, I would say like fried shrimp, fried chicken.
Yes. Right. You can't save that stuff later. And that's what I guess in the news cycle for me, and it's not that it's a news story, it's like a relevant story. Like my wife and I have a story that's ready for Friday, and I don't think it's going to make air because it's a weird, it's a public interest story, but not like an issue, so to speak, that we disagree on. And we were like, let's talk about that on Friday. Friday will come around and she and I will be like, yeah, let's move on. So, I mean, it's just the way that it works as you're filling up content. So sometimes I want French fries. Great answer, Max. Yeah, that's right. If you don't eat the French fries, right then and there.
French fries is number one.
Yes, French fries. Max, I got to give you a round of applause on that one. French fries, definitely. If you don't eat them hot, they're worthless. Unless, of course, they're those, like, I can eat these. Mark Christopher, you'll probably agree with me. Five Guys French fries are the only French fries I can eat cold. How about yourself?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't like any French fry. I don't like any French fries cold. I love Five Guys French fries. They
are great, right?
They really are.
Yeah.
No question.
I think that's the whole deal. McDonald's French fries, whenever we go to McDonald's, we eat the French fries before we touch anything else because they're hot and ready to go.
You know, I went to McDonald's today, and I generally don't get French fries, even though I love them.
Yeah.
But it's just one less thing I'm putting in there. But I got a double cheeseburger, 6 McNuggets, and a large Coke.
Really?
That's what I got today. But I don't usually don't get the French fries, but I do love them. I mean,
you
McDonald's
can't
French
go
fries.
wrong with them. Are you kidding me?
No, you're right.
Kidding me?
You're right.
I could put out a second mortgage for some if I had
Yeah,
to.
I know. I mean, it just kind of eliminates some of the calories.
Yeah.
Now,
Indeed.
you know what? Some days I don't care and I get whatever I want. So today I was like, well, I'm not gonna have the French fries today. But yeah, Five Guys also excellent French fries.
Great fries.
I agree. And the grease coming out of the bag. Oh, I love that. That's a beautiful thing. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. A little slow again as you move on down by exit 19 and Meriden down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Northbound 91 moves well. Cromwell up into Hartford, where you'll see a little slow traffic up by 33 Jennings Road. Westbound 84 slows East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge of 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, a little slow 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. Again, you'll lose speed between 58 and 59 into 384 interchange on the East Hartford-Manchester line. 2 westbound slowing in East Hartford, 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound Middletown slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 north again, tight 34 to 36 in New Britain. Westbound side of 84 a little slow as you move by 26 to 25 in Waterbury. And again, you're going to see delays 84 westbound from the Mixmaster out to between 16 and 15 in Southbury. We had the right lane blocked out there with emergency road work. Now the left lane is blocked, so you want to stay to the right there. Heading toward New Haven, southbound Parkway delays 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound slowing 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear, warm, and humid tonight. The low down to 64. Mostly cloudy. A very warm day for Thursday. Gusty thunderstorms in the afternoon and early part of the evening. The high up to 89. Otherwise, mainly clear Thursday night. The low down to 63. Friday for 4th of July. Beautiful day. Less humid. Plenty of sun. The high of 84. Partly cloudy Friday night. A great night for the fireworks. The low down to 58. Then filtered sunshine Saturday. The high of 86. Air quality going to be poor for sensitive groups on Saturday, though. Sunday, hot with a mix of clouds and sun. The high jumping up to 95 to round out the holiday weekend. 84 Meriden, 82 New Haven and Waterbury, 86 Danbury, and 84 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
You know, every kid deserves to look their best, especially on their first day of school. Bring your new or like new school clothes like sweaters, sweatshirts, and coats to Eddie Jordan's Furniture. And Cradles to Crayons will make sure they help a child in need.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of water heater issues a year. We know how much of an inconvenience no hot water is, and with our fully stocked trucks and warehouse, you can get your hot water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P1027768, S10406241, S3 308699, SM 3004646, E1 185643.
Are you a proud Connecticut business owner? We are too. With more than 48 years of experience handling business transactions for small and mid-sized businesses, and we know that not every business relationship works out as planned. If you found yourself in a dispute, call the law firm of Brown, Payne, Darris, and Scott. Our team of business lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Nick Payne Darris is responsible for the content of this ad.
Just hearing the word make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the
Steve, you're 100% right. Sushi, not a good one.
Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-979-3168. 800-979-3168. You have
Here we go.
to lose,
Got it.
but everything to gain. 800-979-3168.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it.
Got a whole bunch of phone calls to get to, and we will. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. I want to give a shout out to Reverend Jacob Dell. He's the pastor of the First Congressional Church of Woodbury. If someone does know him, let him know that I'm giving him a shout out and want to have him as a guest on the show. So please, if you know him or if you can get in touch with him, please let him know that, one, I'm giving him a shout out, and two, I'd love to have him on the show. Also, programming note, tomorrow, Senator and Republican leader Steve Harding is going to be on the show at 4 o'clock tomorrow. He's the ranking member on the legislature's Environment Committee, and he's going to talk about the letter that he sent out to Miss Dyke, Secretary Dyke, at DEEP. Commissioner Dyke, I should say, at DEEP. So we'll talk to him tomorrow at 4:05 and his addressing of this. So I just want to say that I want to thank all of you, because now somebody is on it. And we'll see if we can get some answers about this dicot thing. And we'll stay on it until we know what's going on. All right. Also, as I just said in the last break, I said, what food was it that you couldn't prepare after you've already prepared it once? Of course, everybody is responding to the French fries part. Max, I'm with you. But White Mike and Jay Ruddy, who I'm not giving out who that is, but Jay Ruddy's on my text message saying, oh, no, you just put them in the air fryer. Talking about French fries. Nobody wants to do that with French fries. I know you guys would do it because, you are, chez magnifique. You guys are all hoity-toity with your French fries, putting them in an air fryer. French fries is not one of those things that, you guys are really, really froofy, okay? If you are letting your French fries get cold enough that you have to put them in, pull out the air fryer, come on, bro. Come on. We're talking about stuff that, like, we're on the road. We got to eat them real fast. Also, Steve L. says, I'm not sure that leftover sushi would be a good idea either. I tend to agree. You're 100% on that one, my friend. Let's get back to the phones. Tom, what's going on, sir? You're Warren Reese. What's up?
Hey, good afternoon. I don't even think fresh sushi is good. That looks bad to me. I can't do that. Hey, I was driving the other day late, and I did hear those guys that come on after you. Yeah, they're very entertaining.
They are, right?
Yeah, they were good. They were good. With that thing of the day reminded me of you a little. So I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
I like these guys.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Markley.
it's good.
By the way, what Tom is talking about is the show immediately after Markley, Van Camp, and Rollins. They are very funny, very entertaining, and they're not trying to fool. Like, they're not trying to be funny. They just really have natural opinions that are entertaining and quite funny, and they work well with each other. They have a chemistry that I love.
I had never heard of those guys before. I don't know where they're from, but yeah, they're entertaining. I recommend it to anyone that can. Hey, Reese, you gave me a heart attack. I just spent $5,800 3 months ago buying a new oil tank for my oil furnace.
Oh, my God. You're talking about Ned Lamont. Yeah. So on Tuesday, he said he wants to get rid of oil-based furnaces, which is, again, more than 40% of Connecticut homes are heated with furnaces that burn oil, of course. And
$5,800. I got a double-wall 30-year furnace.
Yeah. And
or oil tank.
It's, guys, again, like I said, can't read the room for nothing, this guy.
Yeah. He's almost as, did you hear, Reese?
Yes.
Did you hear those two guys? I forget who they were. I don't know, it was some morning, some syndicated show.
Uh-huh.
The question was, who would you rather spend time with?
Okay.
Newsom or Chris Murphy? It was very funny.
Wait a minute. So they
I don't
picked
know who it was.
Newsom. Wait a minute. Newsom or Chris Murphy? Now,
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
had it-
I'm a big, listen to me. Both of those guys, I'm huge fans of. Both of them. You know that. However, if I really had to sit with them, how much time do we get? Just an evening to sit down with them?
It wasn't specifically pointed out what the situation was, but you got to look it up. It's very interesting.
Okay.
The conclusions they come to.
Oh,
and
that I gotta
agree
hear.
100%. I agree 100% with the conclusions.
Yeah, okay. I think, if I were to just, based off what I don't know about it, I would just say it would have to be Chris Murphy because, I ride that guy like a Bronco on a regular basis. I would just love to be in a movement. Although Newsom would be great because if he ever ran for president, I want to be the guy who interviewed him before then. But I'm sorry, I've got quite the hankering for Chris Murphy.
Yeah, with you, it's the other way around because they don't want to have nothing to do with Murphy.
Yeah.
Because they think he's such a fraud.
Yeah. Well, these guys may be in tune.
You want to get him, like
yeah,
me.
Totally.
I'd love to ask him a few questions.
Exactly. Thank you, buddy. Let's get to Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Reese, I got three things real quick.
Yep.
Number one, when you go national, you're going to remember us. We're going to have a Connecticut line. We get a hold of you.
I'll tell you, I'm going to respond to that after you say your other thing, because I have talked to my wife about this.
Okay, perfect. I'd love to hear it. Number two, with hydrilla, I said to you something.
Yes.
It's actually a superfood. It's something that, probably wouldn't want to take it out of the lakes or whatever. I don't see why they just don't drain the lakes. I mean, they do that on a regular basis anyways to do like dam repair and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
I would think that'd be very cost effective and safe way of doing it after the summer is over. Drain the lakes and clean them out.
I think that what we're
number-
witnessing here is the ineptitude of Deep and anyone else for that matter who should have been dealing with this when it was a problem a long time ago, and now they're in a desperate situation and making a desperate attempt to remedy something that they negligently let go astray. And look, they're going to just have to find other means, as far as anyone else is concerned, because they shouldn't do it this way.
Agreed.
They shouldn't do it this way. What's the other thing? Sorry.
So my last point on Murphy and healthcare.
Yeah.
Number one, Murphy kind of seems like a cross between Napoleon Dynamite and Steve Urkel to me. I don't know other people. When you mention something about jumping out high, I don't think he could jump without tripping. But that being said, that's just my opinion.
Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated. Yeah. What was
hold on. Yeah. As far as healthcare goes, people without healthcare still have means to get taken care of.
Sure.
We always had. We always will. So I mean, yeah, this to me that's just a false.
Hey,
argument.
I'll give you one, Steve. Try this on for size, and let me see if you can get the right answer. Back in the days, you may not be from the hood, but you may remember this term. Back in the days, when someone used to get an STD who couldn't go to the hospital, they used to have a small little place that you can go to get antibiotics. Do you remember what it was called? It was called the something clinic. Do you remember what it was?
I know they got the free health clinic, but
That's
I
right.
don't really
There
know
you
what
go.
it would.
It's
Right.
called the free.
Right.
It's called the free clinic. They still have them.
Right. And yeah, they always will. And I'm a little concerned about, I wasn't going to mention this, but with Lamont, I think he got some kind of connection with the power companies, utilities.
Yeah,
I think,
this is
the guy before him too.
This is again, like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense with all of this, but like I said, we're gonna get to the bottom of it. We'll get somewhere. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you, sir.
Thanks.
Let me get to my good friend who's been he's must have nothing to do during the day. How we doing, Matty O? What's up?
Hello, Mr. Hopkins.
You still beefing with me about Groot?
I was going to call you Groot, but no. So first of all, let me say, yeah, we do all appreciate. I know you could do 3 hours on your own without a single caller, without even blinking an eye.
Oh yeah.
So we do all appreciate the time that you give us. So really, we do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. No, I got a lot of stuff that I want to get into, and plus I want to give you guys, like, when you're driving or doing whatever, I want to fill your heads with so much stuff and at the same time inform and enlighten. So I'm doing a lot.
You absolutely do. So I was calling about Trump, and this is my theory why there's such vitriol hate for Trump opposed to any other politician.
Right.
It's because I noticed throughout my lifetime, at least since Reagan, every politician, every generation of politicians kind of moves slightly to the left. Slightly to the left. Like plucking the chicken one feather at a time. And
Right.
I think Trump is the first politician that kind of pushed the country big time toward the right. And I think that's why they hate him so much, because it's like every Republican was just like, Republican, but a little more Democrat, every generation over. And it kept going more and more to the left. And he really pushed everything the opposite direction.
I think so.
And I think that's why they hate him so much.
I think the first hatred of him, Limbaugh used to talk about this a lot, is that Donald Trump is from Queens. He's from the boroughs. He is not elite in the sense of Washington, right? He is not a Washington acolyte or a member of that club. Donald Trump is all of those things that those people could never be, right? So when he comes in and he absolutely devastates the ecosystem of politics, or politics as usual, when he comes in and he's just sort of bombastic and speaks in a very plain way. He's the only billionaire who sounds like you and I, hanging out anywhere, right? Conversing with us and talking about certain things and laughing about certain things he finds funny. He's jovial in inappropriate places like weekend. He's very normal in that sense. And everybody who meets him says the same thing about him. It's like you'd never know, if you spent enough time, that guy was a billionaire real estate guy. You wouldn't even know it. Other than knowing his name, you would think he was just like every other person. Washington never moves like that. They wouldn't know how. And I'll give you one last example of this, Matt. When Barack Obama goes to basketball games, he's sitting courtside, but he never appears like somebody who goes to basketball games. He looks like somebody who's seeing it for the first time. Where Donald Trump goes to a football game like Army versus Navy, and he's up in the boxes, in the elite rich boxes. And for some odd reason, even with him far away from the average Joe, he's somehow just like them. That is an amazing gift.
He looks like he could be just another guy in the stands with a beer in his hand.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. It's like, that's what I'm saying. So you see Donald Trump in the most elite of places, but he resonates with average folks. Where you get Barack Obama in a place with just average folks, and he looks out of place.
I guess so, but I don't know if that's why they hate him.
Oh, no. That's exactly why Washington hates him. That's why they hate him. They hate him because of his opulence. They hate him because he's brash and he's a little crass at times. He is not like them. He is not of their ilk. He's not a part of the in club. That's why they hate him, because he's not one of them. He isn't.
No, he doesn't play their game for sure.
Yeah, that he doesn't. That's true.
Okay, my friend. Thank you.
You got it. Much appreciated. He just doesn't. And like I said, there's an uncanny ability that the guy has. Again, being a guy in a two-piece suit, standing up in the expensive box, and you still look at him and going, hey, that's my, I guess, you know what? I have a couple of seconds. I'll describe it this way. When one of my friends becomes great, I love being in the stands, pointing him out and saying, hey, that's my buddy. That's my homeboy. Look how well he's doing. It's different. When you have people who look at you like that and they just go, what's he doing up there? That's how you know. Anyway, let's get another check of weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading on the westbound side of 84 coming into downtown Hartford, you're going to see some slow traffic from approaching the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Eastbound 84, just a little slow, 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. Southbound 91, some slow traffic, Hartford 33 to 32. Again, down by exit 28. More slow traffic as you move down into Meriden, approaching 19 to 17 for the Wilbercross Parkway. Northbound side of 91 moving well, Cromwell into Hartford. We are seeing a little slow traffic, 91 northbound getting by 33 Jennings Road in Hartford. 291, 384 looking good east of the river. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 west merge in East Hartford. 9 north and southbound tight as you approach the Aragoni. 9 northbound in Berlin slowing 32 up to 36 in New Britain. Westbound side of 84, some delays in Waterbury 22 to the Mixmaster. Again, from 18 in Waterbury, it's tight out to between exits 16 and 15 where we had some earlier emergency road work out there. 84 eastbound moving into Southbury, you've got slow traffic now from 16 sluggish right up to exit 18 in Waterbury. If you're traveling southbound Parkway, you've got slow traffic from 62 in Hamden down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 South New Haven slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Amazon.
This Prime Day, July 8th through the 11th, you can get a great deal on a new foot spa, transforming you into the queen of kicking it.
Wait, this has bubble jets. Okay.
Shop great deals this Prime Day, July 8th through the 11th.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, quite warm and humid with a mix of clouds and sun, a high of 87. Clear and humid tonight, the low only 64. Then for Thursday, mostly cloudy, quite warm with a gusty thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening that could produce some localized damaging wind gusts, the high of 89. For Friday, the 4th of July, a beautiful day. It'll be less humid with plenty of sunshine and the high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. No bail for Diddy. A judge has declined to grant bail for Sean Combs. He'll be remanded to await sentencing.
He
in his
doing
sex
time,
crimes
baby.
Case. The disgraced hip-hop mogul convicted today.
Maybe.
Federal
I
prostitution.
say he's doing
offenses,
time.
but acquitted of the more serious sex trafficking and racketeering.
Yeah, I said maybe.
Day
Dude,
off in the house party.
if you're
murder
not
trial
planning on
in
giving him any
Milford
time,
tomorrow,
you let
the
him out on
jury
bail.
will receive its instructions and deliver.
Well, he should have gotten bail anyway.
Whole
he got-
Valley. He's
they were gonna
accused
give
of
him $1
stabbing
million.
One person to death and injuring
Hell,
3
I'd do
others in
10.
a melee that broke
He'd
out
only have to
between
come up with
rival
10%
high
of it.
schoolers
Yeah.
Still
in
put up $1
Shelton
million. He could put
in
up $1 million.
2022.
Man's got royalties of $1 million like a
Kohlberger
day.
Pled guilty to murder in the
Put that up in a
2022
heartbeat.
stabbing deaths of 4 University
They don't
of
trust
Idaho
it.
students.
If the judge
today.
isn't
It's a
giving him
deal
bail, that means sentencing's happening.
led him to
He's at least
avoid the
spending
death
5.
penalty.
He's got to
He
get
appeared in
5.
court to
Nah, I don't think so.
this
Really?
afternoon. House
What do you think
Republicans
he'll get?
switching toward
You
a
think he'll get
vote
probation?
today on
Time served, homestay.
Eh,
tax
come
package.
on.
Some Republican leaders
Stop
met
it.
with the
Really?
president at the White House.
You're
The bill barely made it.
You
through the
think
Senate
he'll get
on
home
Tuesday. Some
confinement?
Republicans say
For
they
how
don't
long?
know, unless change,
Probably like
including more cuts.
a year or two of
Oh,
probation at
yeah, they
home or
probably
something.
do it.
Not
If they
underway,
were due to
millions
home confinement, they
expected
can
to
only
make
do it
the,
a year
trip
anyway.
to their destinations by air or on the roads, 50 miles or more.
Can you imagine?
880,000
having
Connecticut
that
residents
home
expected to travel
confinement for
this
a
long
year.
weekend. And a beach in Bridgeport is closed for the summer due to a tick infestation. City leaders are closing Pleasure Beach and the fishing pier. Among the ticks that have been discovered, the invasive Asian longhorn tick. Local leaders are working with state environmental officials to deal with that issue. Dow down 10 points today. NASDAQ up 190. S&P up 29. Red Sox beat the Reds in the resumption of that suspended game from yesterday, 5-3. They'll play the regularly scheduled game tonight, 6:10 the pregame here on TIC. Yanks have dropped 2 straight in Toronto. They'll try to avoid making it 3 when they play the Jays at Rogers Center. Mets woes continue, losing the first of 2, 7-2 against Milwaukee, nightcap at Citi Field. And in the Eastern League, Yard Goats are playing a doubleheader after last night's rainout against Binghamton at Duncan Park. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
How did you get your tripping breakers fixed so fast?
ALO Home Services. Same day electrical. I gave them a call and they had a technician on their way. They even sent the technician's real-time location so I knew when they would be here.
Did you say same day? That's crazy.
If you need same-day electrical, call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO, call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P102776688, S104062441, S3308699, SN3004646, E1185643.
You'll get more than you expect with McValue at McDonald's. So when you've spent too much on a night out, get deals on the after party. When you've got date night, get deals on favorites that'll make you their favorite. And when you've got family for the weekend, we've got breakfast.
Having options tastes better. Enjoy a refreshing Coke Zero included in either the $5 hot and spicy McChicken meal deal or the $6 McDouble meal deal. Price and participation may vary. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hey, Jeff, looks like your business is really booming, even in a tough like ours.
Yes,
hey, Mike.
sir.
Yeah, thanks to LendSeek, our business was able to take care of some outstanding bills and taxes and to purchase inventory and expand our product lines.
Wow. You know, my business needs working capital, but only from a reputable company that I can trust and count on. How does LendSeek work?
Fast and easy. Just apply at lendseek.com. Their AI lending platform gave my business access to over 100 funding programs with one simple application. And it costs nothing to apply.
At lendseek.com, you can receive business
AI
funding with
lending
no
platform.
collateral, no prepayment penalties, and no restrictions on how you use the funds. Whatever your funding needs are, seek no more. Our AI lending marketplace has you covered. If you've been in business at least 1 year with annual revenue of at least $250,000, you could get the funding your business needs in as little as 24 hours. There's no...
Here we go.
Apply today at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
That's right, the Odyssey app, and you can go to a couple other places as well, and we'll get to that. It's one of my favorite lines in The Legend of Billie Jean. Come on, tell me where she is. Where's Billie Jean? It's Peter Coyote. Where's Billie Jean? Everywhere. That's what she says in the movie. Everywhere. I love that movie. I know no one ever talks about that movie, The Legend of Billie Jean. Billie Jean with Helen Slater, Christian Slater, Yardley Smith, Peter Coyote. No one ever talks about it. What's the guy from Quantum Leap? What's it? Dean? Is it Dean Stockwell? Is that his name? Something like that. I can't remember his last name. But he was Al from Quantum Leap. I love that movie, Legend of Billie Jean. Whenever it's on, I watch it. I don't care where it is. I'll even look for it. I'll watch it on Tubi. Love that movie. Also, another movie I like is The Principal with James Belushi. Still one of the best movies ever made. I don't care what anybody says. That was before The Substitute with Treat Williams, whatever his name is. The Principal. That was the first movie to start the genre where, the teacher has to, or the school teacher has to fight against the big bad drug dealer bully inside the school system. James Belushi, Academy Award winning actor Lou Gossett Jr., whose character was a draft pick for the New York Titans, who busted his knee and then became a security guard at the Brandeis High School in the movie The Principal with Ray Don Chong, and a very young Isai Morales, who ironically plays the bad guy in a film that I just saw over the weekend, the new Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning. Isai Morales. If you go see The Principal right now, go see Isai Morales. He's got a small bit part in there. He's got a speaking part in there. You'll see him when he's young. Hey, man, everybody knows who you are. You're that screw-up, man, from over town. I should know better than to talk about movies before we were about to go to Weather and Traffic with Jason Catarina and Mark Christopher. Because when I talk about movies, I'll say something ridiculous as a transfer, to bring it over to Mark and say, hey, Mark, you ever see that movie? And Mark will go, no, of course not. Why do I put myself so
I did see Jaws, though, on the 50th anniversary, Joe.
You saw that?
Movie.
You saw it on the 50th anniversary?
No, I saw it when it came out.
Oh, when it came out.
I was like 10, what was I, 11 years old.
Yeah, you were about 11 years old. Came out in 1975. I was 6.
Jason Catarina probably he'll be better to talk to about movies.
Yes, I know.
A lot more than I have.
He'll remember The Principal. I know he will. Jason is a man about society.
There you go.
I'm sorry. Let me go. I'm bothering you. Go. Back to traffic.
No, you're not. Everything's good. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, eastbound side of 84, some sluggish traffic, 46th Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge, out to 47 Sigourney Street. Southbound 81 just a little slow, 33 to 32. Again, down by exit 28. And you'll see another slowdown as you move down by 19 down to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91, that's a good ride as you move Cromwell up into the Windsor exit. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford out to 47 Sigourney. Eastbound 84, some sluggish traffic, 46th Avenue into the tunnel. Looks good, 291 through 84. 2 westbounds tied up from 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound's a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. A little slow again, 9 northbound by 36 in New Britain. If you're on the westbound side of 84 going into Waterbury, slow traffic approaching 22 up to exit 16 in Southbury. Eastbound 84 in Southbury slowing 16 up to 18 in Waterbury. Southbound Parkway, you're looking at delays now from 61 into the West Rock Tunnel. And 95 South New Haven, you're tight 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples.
How many times have we all said, that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got us saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples, that was easy.
WTIC weather. Sorry, I popped in a little late and didn't hear what movie you were talking about, but yeah, I'm definitely seen a few. As we head through tonight, clear and humid, warm night for us as we head through our Wednesday night. The low only down to 64. Mostly cloudy, a very warm day Thursday. Gusty thunderstorms for the afternoon and early part of the evening. They could produce some localized damaging wind gusts. A high 89 during the day. And then Thursday night, other than the thunderstorms during the evening, it'll be mainly clear. The low down to 63. Beautiful weather for 4th of July. Less humid day, lots of sunshine. Make sure you wear your sunscreen and stay hydrated. The high of 84. Friday night, partly cloudy. Great conditions for fireworks. The low down to 58. Filtered sun Saturday. Poor air quality for sensitive groups. The high of 86. And hot as we head out of the weekend on Sunday with clouds and sun. The high jumping up to 95 on Sunday. 82 Meriden, 79 in New Haven and Bridgeport right now. 82 in Waterbury and 84 for Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering small ship experiences with a shore excursion included in every port and programs designed for cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Hey, it's Matt Soroyce, and I know with the temperatures heating up, sometimes wearing that extra layer of clothing isn't exactly summer-friendly, but we may be trying to cover up those pesky extra pounds from the holiday season. Wouldn't it be better to feel comfortable in just a single layer while you're having fun in the sun? Well, Awaken 180 Weight Loss can help you get to whatever goal you have in mind. Maybe you have low energy, joint or muscle pain, and all you want to do is go for a hike or a swim a few laps without feeling like you're so winded. Awaken 180 Weight Loss can get you there too. With Awaken's one-on-one coaching from the amazing counselors, they will walk you through every step to get you to your goal weight. Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the long-term solution for weight loss. They've helped over 25,000 people lose the weight and lose the weight for good. Just imagine where you could be by Labor Day if you just give them a call today. So come on, let's make this summer the one where we feel our best. Set up your free consultation today at 844-346-1800 or visit them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
1 minute.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, it has been a pleasure, and thank you all for being a part of it. I want to make sure that I thank Ben Wetmore, board president of Project Veritas, for joining us today to talk about Elvira and Eileen Said. We'll have him on again as more and more stories Project Veritas tends to break. It's like almost every week with those guys. We'll have them on again. Kevin asked me, should I have asked him whether or not he was sponsored by Pfizer? Not nice. Not nice. All the haters. You're just haters. And with that, tomorrow on the program, as a programming note, Senate Republican leader Steve Harding joins the program at 4 o'clock. He is the ranking senator on the legislature's Environment Committee. We're going to talk about the letter that he sent out to DEEP to get answers on DQAT. I'm still getting a whole bunch of stuff about DQAT in my inbox. This one in particular, I talked about how DQAT was banned in the UK thanks to Craig in the car. He just sent me this. Well, he said it a while ago, but he said that it's also banned in the entire EU. That's including Switzerland, Norway, Ireland, and it's even banned in China. So, again, we'll get some more details about this as well. I understand that Candelora is also being given my number to contact me, so maybe we'll have him on as well, so we can get the proper attention to all of this. But let's get to the phone so we can get you out of here, and then I can go as well. I'm going to start off with, just because, let's go with Michael here. What's going on, Michael?
How you doing, Reese?
Pretty good.
I'm very excited about you and your beautiful wife coming up to Connecticut.
Yeah, we'll be there soon.
But there's something that the people in Connecticut should know. As far as car taxes that everyone probably got within the last week,
yeah,
they used to do it under Kelley Blue Book, which would rate your car good, poor, fair, great, and mileage. Then they went to J.D. Powers.
Okay.
Every year I have to go and get it reassessed. And
Wait a minute. So in order for
Powers
you to wait. So if I get this right, because I remember when I paid car taxes in Virginia. So you're telling me that you have to do all the legwork before you find out what your taxes are for your car?
Well, you have to figure out the evaluation. So,
wow.
So J.D. Powers only tracked up to 250,000 miles. Other than that, they had no value.
Gotcha.
If you were past that. I have a 2013 Ford Taurus that I bought brand new in May of 2012.
Okay.
That has over 422,000 miles on it.
422,000 miles?
Yep.
No way.
And yes, absolutely. I'll send you a picture.
That means you've traveled at least twice around the earth.
I didn't get to see all the fun places though. I did field service in the Northeast, so in upstate New York. But now, they're basing the value off of MSRP, and it doesn't matter if the car's a rust bucket or if it has 422,000 miles. They just base it off of the sticker price of what you paid for the car.
Oh, that's insane.
Yes, because last year when I had it reassessed jumped through hoops and they got it down to I think it was $60 in taxes.
That's insane. You know what? I love the fact that they would just evaluate it based upon the year, make, and model of my car. And every time I had to pay the taxes, the number would just go down. It would just end up going down and down and down. I had my car for 7 years, and I watched that number go down every year. I was always surprised at what the number was at the end. I think I remember the first time I was $400 every year. I mean, the first year. By the time I got rid of it 7 years later, I was down to $164.
And you know what? I don't want to put any work on Mark from West Hartford because he's fantastic at everything he does. But he might be the guy to figure out how this. No one knew about.
Yeah, you got to listen. You've got to streamline this. This is ridiculous. That's an insane way to charge people taxes.
Absolutely.
Sounds like Connecticut is doing what it always does, making it difficult.
Yes, it does it Connecticut style.
Let me go. I got a couple. I got a bunch of people to get to, Michael. But thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Love you, Reese.
You got it. Thank you, man. Love you guys too. Let's go to Mike's in Hartford. Mikey, what's going on, sir?
Was your wife hot or cold on the idea of singing the national anthem or God Bless America on
Scared to death, but she's going to do it. And we found a way for her to do it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I told her this morning because I had forgotten to tell her last night because she was tired and she had been driving all over the place. But I did talk to her about it this morning. And she was like, really? Someone asked? And I said, yeah. And so you did not know this, but Roseanne is a singer. She's actually quite good. And, yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised. She sounds talented, but I wanted to get to Chris Murphy and Blumenthal.
Yeah.
They're both up to their waist in caustic quicksand. I mean, you know what? That new prison they're building in Florida isn't big enough for the criminals that they want to get and put down there. Hey, we would fill up that facility with politicians alone.
Hey, I hear that it's not going to be just, in fact, the 5,000 person facility that's being built down there, there is talk that if this turns out to be a success, and I know you heard this news, that they are going to take JAGs from the National Guard, and they're going to put them in an 8 weeks training program to make them immigration judges. Did you hear about that?
No.
That is going. Can you imagine that? Forget it. I mean, an 8-week program to get JAGs out of what's the name, National Guard and make them immigration judges right there on the premises.
Outstanding.
Yeah. It's so it's an executive, and he can do it, and Donald Trump can do it executively.
A quick comment about Dick Blumenthal.
Yeah.
Those Botox shots aren't working. That treatment, I'll tell you, the last time I saw him, he looked terrible. You know, it looks like he went for hair for men and he went for Botox simultaneously. Neither one of them worked.
You guys are so cold about it. That poor man. I don't know if he's...
I can get colder than that.
God damn, you guys are cold. All right, let me get to some more here. Let's go to my good friend, White Mike. What's going on, sir?
Hey, man, going to kind of go in a positive direction here.
Okay.
I'm 55 years old. I was a teenager in the 80s. I was there for the dawn of portable music.
Yeah.
As were you.
Sure.
We all had Walkmans and Discmans. We had iPods. I don't think people understand what a glorious time we're living in now for portable audio.
Yes.
It's amazing now. It's so good, and nobody seems to appreciate it. Buddy, I went out at lunch today with my iPhone and my AirPod Pros 2, and I listened to a spatial audio jazz recording, and it sounded like I was in a jazz club surrounded by knocked out musicians with something I carried in my pocket the size of a pack of floss. And nobody talks about this miracle. It's amazing.
It is.
Do you remember carrying cassettes?
Yeah. I remember being concerned about the cassette tape being caught inside your Walkman. If you couldn't afford the Sony Walkman and you got a cheap knockoff, it would always eat up your tape. And then doing the whole number 2 pencil to recoil it back to its original. I remember it all.
The only upside to the Walkman is because batteries were so expensive, we were poor kids, you didn't tend to fast forward through stuff.
That's right.
You would just listen to your entire album.
That's right.
I think it made us better music listeners then because we were forced to have patience. I think the CD player and the iPod and the shuffle technology maybe added to a lot of kids' inability to concentrate. But anyway, buy yourself some AirPod Pros 2, get an Apple Music sub, and blow your mind for the miracle you're witnessing that nobody cares about.
I know the kids do. Kids are very excited about their music, but you're right. We as older people who lived through the Walkman and the even the CD era, we don't appreciate it as much as we used to. But then again, we don't spend a lot of time walking around. As older folks, we all drive now. And I think that's what's taking away from it.
Well, for sure.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Get you another caller.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Let's go to my good friend, Commentary. What's up, baby?
Hey, what up, man? I'm a little out of topic now because I tried getting in earlier, but I had to
I'm sorry,
do my job for once. No, you're good. It ain't you. I would have waited. But anyway, man, so I got this friend because y'all were talking about immigration. I've been meaning to tell you about it. I don't know exactly what's going on. You see everything on X and all these different type of raids and everything like that. But then you got a guy, like I know this dude, he came to this country illegally when he was 2. He got a DUI when he was like 17. And so they pulled his work visa, and they've been trying to deport him for a couple of years. They're going to resolve his case in 2 weeks only after he self-deports to whatever the one is. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Juarez.
Okay.
Goes to Juarez. He's got to get 2 weeks worth of like physicals and everything, and then he's got to get the COVID vaccine, and then he come back home and live his life.
So that's all it's going to take? He's got to go to Juarez, be there for 2 weeks, get a COVID vax, and then he's allowed to come back home and be with his family?
Yeah, which he's going to do, but on the same token, he doesn't want the COVID vaccine, but his wife's an immigration attorney to throw in another loop here.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's got to go get the COVID vaccine and come back. But he's got to have the vaccine. They're adamant about that. So I don't know. You know what I mean? There's got to be something else going on.
Yeah.
But,
that's an interesting...
She's from the States. She's an immigration attorney. If you talk to this dude, he sounds like he's from West Texas. I knew him for years before I even knew that he was actually from Mexico.
Terry, I'm going to ask you to do something that I normally would not ask, okay?
Sure.
Holler at your boy and see if he's willing to come on.
Oh, yeah, he's about that life. He's articulate. He's smart. Married to a lawyer, man. It's bad enough being married. But
hey, no. Listen. Tell him we'll keep him anonymous. We won't talk to. We won't tell him. Tell anybody his name. We'll tell him whatever the case is. Get in touch with me on X, and we'll work it out.
I got you. Yeah, be good, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you, man.
All right.
That's my brother right there. Commentary. All right, we got to get up out of here. Even if I put him on, Frank, can you say something in 1 minute?
Yeah, those Medicare cuts don't start to 2028, so it gives you plenty of time to get a job. There's 7.7 million jobs. Go to work. That's how I was raised. I was told if you don't work, you don't eat. And you know me.
That's right. That's what Chris Murphy's talking about. Don't sit there and let your kids starve. Go out and get a job.
Right. Go get a job like my family. My family never took one penny of benefits, not with the old man alive. He told me, if you don't eat, Frank, if you don't work, you don't eat.
That's right. You don't work, you don't eat. Damn right. Thank you, Frank, as always. Yeah, that's it. We got plenty of stuff, plenty of news, and plenty of views in. We got your phone calls in. Michael A. says, how about boom boxes? Don't get me started on boom boxes. Let me say this before I leave. Steve asked earlier that, everybody has this faith that the show's going to get syndicated. Trust me, your mouth to God's ears. Trust me, I keep it on my wall. Vindication and syndication. I keep those two things on my sort of dream board. Vindication and syndication is what I'm always looking for. And that is that my talent is worthy, and syndication is just something that I would love. But if that were to happen, there is only one condition, and that is because I started my radio career when I started getting paid to do radio in Hartford, Connecticut, and after 17 years, I am back here in Hartford, Connecticut at WTIC. So if I were to ever become syndicated, my flagship station would always be in Hartford. That's where my heart is, and that's where I will stay. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You, have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you next time. JC Caterina's got weather, John Silva's got news, and Mark Christopher, he's got the best traffic in the land in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. If you're heading into Hartford right now, both sides of 84 moving well now. Farmington.
All right, sir.
Brief
All right,
slowdown at
mañana
32
it
A&B.
is.
See you mañana.
And by the way, I don't know.
From 19 down to 17 on the southbound side
wait
of 91.
until
91 northbound
after,
moving well. Cromwell through downtown up in Windsor. 291
Stephen Harding
84 OK. 2
tomorrow
eastbound
before
moving
we
well.
decide
Glastonbury
on
to Marlboro.
which Sunday show.
If you're
what
heading
we'll put
into
on the
Waterbury
Sunday
right
show.
now, 84 east.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Some speed.
All right, cool.
All right, because we
Between
might
exit
put
16
Ben
and 17 on the eastbound side of
but
84.
I like
84 eastbound and
Webby
Danbury
more.
tight from the New York Connecticut line out to
You know what I
out to
mean?
exit 5 and
Yeah, well, yeah, depends on. Oh, yeah, okay, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So Webby and
Some traffic
then
from 61
Harding
down
on
into
to
the
sort
West
of
Rock
back
Tunnel,
to back
95
because they're both
southbound
about
in
the
New
same
Haven, slowing
subject.
46 to 43.
Okay.
You know what I
Hey,
mean? So
Traffic
anyway,
and weather
we'll do that
together
tomorrow.
on the 8 WTIC News Talk 10.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks, man.
WTIC weather.
For the rest.
All right, everybody. Thank you, Michael A. As always, boom boxes. Boom boxes. That. How do I put this? I've got a great boombox story. I think I told it. I'm almost certain I told it. The one that I smashed when I was being threatened by Cornflake. I'm almost certain I told that story. You probably heard. You were there when I told that story. Anyway, all right, folks, it's time for me to get up out of here tomorrow. This has been what a week, huh? My inaugural week on WTIC has been probably everything that I could imagine. So I appreciate you all being a part of it, and thank you for being here with me. All right? Y'all be good to each other. And you know I love you, Val. Be good.